Going on, everybody? Good old JM here with you on this Throwback Thursday as we present yet another out of the archives right here on the Casa D18 Studios. JJ, I know, has been working tirelessly to comb through everything on the NoDQ channel, on the Jeff Meacham Network, on his own Casa D18 Studios, on the J. Hebert 95 Studios, the Simple Man brand, to present to you something that you may not have seen before, something that you haven't seen in a long time, perhaps. I know I'm looking forward to what the Renegade has in store, and I hope you are too. Kick your feet up, enjoy a little respite from the craziness of a Thursday, and enjoy this classic content right here on the Casa D18 Studios.
Now, preview time. So let's take a look at what's coming your way.
Hello pals, Alyssa Marino here, and as a friend of Parker Kane Promotions, I am super excited to share the awesomeness that they've got in store for you this November at WrestleCade. You'll be seeing the world-traveling Capital Championship Wrestling Global Fighting Champ Rebecca J. Scott, a rising star who's been featured on Ladies Night Out, MCW, and more, the stunner Emily J., an internationally traveled talent who you've seen on NXT UK and Stardom, Angel of the Ring Zaya Brookside, and NWA World Women's Tag Team Champion Chicago's Sweetheart Missa Kate will also be appearing live. It's all going down WrestleCade weekend in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. You can catch these stars brought to you by Parker Kane Promotions on Saturday, November 25th from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. And be sure to stick around for Ladies Night Out the following day on Sunday, November 26th. You can get your WrestleCade weekend tickets at WrestleCade.com.
You ever wanted to come into a sports bar where the barkeeps know their game? Well, the Jeff Meacham Network, Multiverse of Media has got a production just for you. Sit down and relax as the stat boy and his partner break down the statistics in all things sports. Whether it's football, basketball, motorsports, baseball, hockey, soccer, professional wrestling, mixed martial arts, boxing, and much, much more. All are welcome. Your bar keeps here. Keep you up to date and in the know of everything going on in sports, while also having a pleasant conversation about it all. Your host and owner of the bar, Stat Boy Mike. His partner in crime, Dory Lou. And a host of other guests coming in. The food's hot, the seats are warm, the drinks are ice cold, and the sports talk is plentiful. Casa D18 Studios presents Stat Boy Sports Bar. Take a bar stool and enjoy the show. The Casa D18 Studios, an affiliate of the Jeff Meacham Network, Multiverse of Media, proudly presents this retro content from the Jeff Meacham Network. The Jeff Meacham Network's Multiverse of Media. For over 15 years, the recognized symbol of excellence and the standard bearer in coverage of sports and entertainment.
JJ, Jeff, you want to kick this thing off? Because I'm still trying to process everything here.
Yeah, it's like,
who wants to go first?
Yeah, who wants to go first?
well,
Come on in. It's open mic night with your host.
you could maybe say there's really 4 topics, but it's split into 6.
The Renegade, JJ Williams.
The Sammy and Eddie Kingston thing, which one's the better smelling turd?
And his panel of co-hosts.
I am the founder. We'll call me that for today since we're going with the Jeff Jarrett love theme here this week, according to JJ.
The West Coast Professor, Jeff Meacham.
Karma is karma is karma.
That's professional wrestling! Damn it! The Simple Man, Noah Foster.
It's showtime! Yeah! How you doing, JJ? How you doing, Jeff?
James.
Yeah.
And the He-Man, James Hebert. Imagine Bill Burr, Joe Rogan, Paul White, the Baldies! There you go! It sells itself!
God.
Get in there!
Short his ass and shit the bed.
He's not Amber Heard.
Give it time, JJ, give it time.
No, I'm sure Jeff has some stuff that...
Dumb move. Just don't pull this bullshit again. You get one.
Tony needs to stop caring about the ratings.
Bradshaw said as long as the ads are in place, we're not going to lose that third hour.
Ring of Honor does not have to be AEW Live. They don't necessarily have to coexist with each other. We kind of saw that tonight to a degree.
Along with a panel of guests.
Well, we saw that
no
one.
longer glorious. Don't you bring that up. You want me to rant about what my NXT used to... No, we are done here for the night. I swear, James.
Because you never know who may show up for open mic night.
I leave our company in the capable hands of an extraordinary group of superstars, employees, and executives.
The first thing that came to my mind was, it's about damn time.
Amen!
I literally touched everybody in the state's trash. It's horrible, you guys.
Peyton's new thing is Dennis the Menace, but it's funny because she calls it Dentist the Medicine. And
that's great.
When Elliot Taylor came out and did Born for Greatness live, I was popping my pussy, having a great time. I didn't care. I was having so much fun.
Sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
Fuck Bill Belichick.
Thing. We ended on wrestling, and then you bring in that shit. That's just how the fan goes off the damn rails. Brilliant, bloody brilliant.
"'Twas a long time ago, longer now than it seems, in a place that perhaps you've seen in your dreams. For the story you're about to be told began with the holiday worlds of old. Now you've probably wondered where holidays come from. If you haven't, I'd say it's time you begun. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the special holiday edition of Open Mic Night. The renegade JJ McFly here. The West Coast Professor Jeff Meacham Meacham. The simple man, Noah Foster, a.k.a. Beetlejuice tonight. Just so don't say it 3 times in a row. Gentlemen, welcome to the special Halloween special, if you will, of Open Mic Night.
It's good to be here, man. I didn't remember it was a Halloween special, number 1, number 2. I'm not even supposed to be here today. So I could be Dante if I really wanted to. But
you definitely could. And it wasn't originally supposed to be a Halloween special. I just kind of figured, it's a couple days before Halloween.
Yes.
There wasn't a whole lot of wrestling news again this week.
Yes.
There's a couple little things that we're going to touch on and, mention, wax proxy over, but for the most part, it's been a slow couple of weeks. So I figured, much like we're going to do in December for Christmas, we'll just kind of do a little Halloween special here with the boys.
There's also the thing that, the next few Saturdays, every Saturday but December 3rd, there's going to be a pay-per-view or pre-live event lead into this show anyway. So might as well get our off day shit in when we can, right? So with Noah, welcome. It was a cast member who's signing in as a guest.
Oh, there you go. Noah, welcome. It's always a pleasure to see you, my friend.
It's showtime.
Yeah.
How you doing, JJ? How you doing, Jeff? Hello, everybody in the chat. I am not Beetlejuice, but I am the Superman Noah Foster. Always here, happy to engage, even if it's on one of these goofiest of holidays. But I'm definitely in the spirit of good things, so this should be a lot of fun. Good to see you, too.
Like I always like to say, it's good to be seen.
That's right.
Nathan, hello. Welcome to the show. Happy pre-Halloween for Open Mic Night, of course. Hassan's in the room. Hi there. Hello to you, Hassan. Hassan says, wow. I'm assuming that was either over the tribute, the memoriam for the people we lost, or that was over me reading the Nightmare diatribe to Stardust.
which was very well done, by the way.
Thank you. He also says, hello there. How you guys doing? I am fantastic.
As I mentioned, little under the weather, which is part of the reason why I'm here. Also, the fact that they apparently overbooked us over at work. So there you go.
There we go. Safet says, what's up? Happy Halloween weekend to everybody. Exactly. Make sure we're going to go ahead and say it now. I'm sure we'll touch on it again at the end. But whatever you guys are doing this weekend for Halloween, be safe.
Yes.
Don't be stupid.
Yeah, exactly. Heed the advice of Shania Twain, folks. Don't be stupid. You know we love you.
Hassan says, are you guys ready for Crown Jewel early next afternoon?
Yes.
As a matter of fact, we actually are, Hassan. And I know it surprises a lot of people how excited we are for it. But as Noah so eloquently put it a couple weeks ago, you know, he's a Christian man. He believes in forgiveness. And if the man whose name is on the marquee feels that the show is good enough to provide coverage for, we'll be here to do it.
Well,
because not everybody over there are bad people.
No.
So like the bloodline, like Roman Reigns, we should acknowledge the good ones.
Exactly.
We are going to acknowledge honoraries tonight, right, Jay?
Oh yeah, we're definitely gonna get there. We are definitely gonna get there.
Oh my Lord.
But first, the first thing I wanted to talk about is we mentioned last week about how Day One has been canceled.
Yes.
Right.
And we were talking a little bit about how Triple H may be trying to scale back some of the more gimmicky pay-per-views, PLEs. I actually found an image. I'm not sure how legitimate it is, so let's just throw that out there right now. But this is kind of like a proposal of what could be in our future.
Okay. Ooh.
And I kind of like it because you got, 9 events there, which I know that there's the thing about 12 events on Peacock.
Right.
So that's definitely something that needs to be addressed or issues or whatever. But you got the Rumble Chamber Mania. Then you got King of the Ring, Money in the Bank, SummerSlam. Then you got whatever the UK's PLE is going to be, whether it stays Clash in the Castle, they name it something else. Then you got Evolution and War Games.
I like this.
I do too, because it seems like it's a good 3-show buildup.
Yeah.
Think of 3 acts to a story.
Yep.
Stories begin at the Rumble, they end at Mania. They begin at King of the Ring, they end at SummerSlam. They begin in the UK, they end at War Games. Like perfect movie booking. Act 1, Act 2, Act 3. And the really good stories and arcs can carry from the Rumble to War Games with some interweaving of other talent and mixing of the storylines. And, somebody that eliminated someone at the Rumble, they could end up on opposite ends of the War Games team. And, it's like there's so many ways that they could weave stories through all this. If that's the direction they decide to go, I like that.
I do too, honestly. It's like I said, you need to space stuff out, let it organically grow and bloom, really tell a story that draws people in, not just try and sell everything all at once too. I literally could look at that as 3 different ways. I mean, the biggest story is obviously going to be the first third of the year. That's WrestleMania. Duh. And then after that, you rebuild maybe to the next WrestleMania in the second half of the year with those 3 shows. SummerSlam kind of being a bridge point, maybe between one major story that could go all the way to WrestleMania and maybe one that kind of like started into WrestleMania but could end there. As far as the third part, that could be more so maybe a celebration or rebuilding stage. You think about Evolution being the all-women's pay-per-view. That's a spectacle in its own right. And you think about that could lead to either the SmackDown or the Raw or NXT. Women's championships, really trying to showcase the scope of women's wrestling across your entire company. You look at the UK, that's international flavor, giving it back to the fans over there. It's only good old England, who is probably the most passionate fan base in the world, just putting it out there. And it makes me really think, okay, there could be a lot of international influences. Maybe somebody shows up, new signing. Maybe you really put the focus on your Canelo Championship like you did this past Clash of the Castle. And as far as the final show, Survivor Series War Games, whether or not War Games becomes a standard, I don't necessarily need Survivor Series War Games as the standard, but having Survivor Series as your end game for the year, definitely sounds like the right approach. If this is personally the way they want to try and do it, if the 12-show thing somehow is kaput, which I think is overkill in the first place, that 9-show graphic you showed almost looks like a perfect setup for me in WWE.
And I think that if the Peacock Network is a stickler about the 12 event thing, there's no reason that NXT can't fill out the other 3 and have one each quarter with NXT.
Which is what takeovers used to be anyway.
Exactly. Takeovers.
Yeah, they used to be one takeover per quarter. That was the whole format for Triple H's NXT. Noah's NXT even. Unlike
my NXT.
Which is slowly but surely starting to resemble, at least on paper, the NXT of old. I'm here for that.
There are elements. I'm not gonna lie. There are elements. There's still some stuff I'm like, what? But there are elements there.
Yes, it's still very sports entertainment-y, but it's getting better on that front anyway. I actually have, but JJ, you and I have talked about this for years. I talked about this with Aaron a lot in the last 20, because figure when we started was right after the war had finally, died down and was over between WWE and WCW, because there was no WCW.
Yeah.
The only reason they extended their schedule was because of the war. You figure WWE had their big 5 and they had the In Your Houses, right? But then Bischoff, when he took over in 93, I think it was, he upped the schedule to 7, then 9, then 12. That's why WWE went to 12 in the first place. And that's why they eventually went to full price for each one per month, because they had to compete, or they felt they did. I don't think they did, but
the obligations.
I wasn't
self-imposed obligation.
So I had no horse in the race on that front. But figure it this way: if WrestleMania is in the first third of the year or the first quarter of the year, the only big show for the company it's going to be competing with anything in that first part of the year is Wrestle Kingdom. They're not going to compete with WrestleMania because it's in January. No big deal. You figure the middle part of the year is when both the NWA and AEW have their big show of the year. Of course, Double or Nothing and the Anniversary show. And then in the latter part of the year is when Impact has their big show, Bound for Glory. And as far as ROH is in the final part of the year. So each company's major show will not be directly competing with WrestleMania, which is a godsend for the other companies, I'm sure. And also they can also plan their shows out better. So this potential format by WWE has universally broad implications for the entire wrestling world, because each company can now go, oh, thank God we don't have to fucking deal with them this month. Awesome. Or, whatever the case may be. Because WWE is the standard bearer. And if, like on December 10th, Final Battle has to go up against, granted, they're going up against NXT, so it's not, oh my God, we're going up against Survivor Series, but it's still a big thing for Ring of Honor because it is their first major outing on pay-per-view under Tony's leadership. So it's going to be a big deal, whatever they throw out there.
There you go. Go through some of these comments real quick. Great commentary on the last PLE, Noah. 100 from Legendary Static.
Thanks.
100% agree. Noah always does a masterful job on the calls.
Yes.
Off-topic question here. About to watch Us at Midnight. Would like to know if it's any good. Honestly, Elizabeth, I've never seen that one, so I can't tell you anything on that.
It's different. I mean, I'm not the horror guy. I'm not going to try to contend that I am, but I have seen that one. Based on my kink, if you will, when it comes to horror, it was okay. It's not a watch every year thing like Halloween is for me, but it's pretty good.
I have no idea if Ali's seen it.
Did we see Halloween Havoc last Saturday night? Yes, we did, Hassan. Go back in the archives on any of our 3 channels. You can watch me and Noah's call of that, as well as the open mic night that followed immediately after.
When I was on for 5 whole minutes.
That's right. Before the Mafia shut him down.
Shut my
the pre-show.
JJ, you'll appreciate this. Where I was sitting was right as you start the bypass. We shut down in extreme crowd traffic. So there was no way I was not under Mousco Mafia watch.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Ooh.
John Cena says, "How's it going?"
Bot.
Are you sure I can't see it?
About to say, I can see the test. I can't see the name.
Says that he's excited for the Judgment Day match at Crown Jewel. That's definitely going to be a good one.
I'm actually excited for the whole card and the fact that these two guys are going to call it. That's what I'm. Wow, that was a revelation. Whoa, I was worried about that for a second there.
There's some intrigue in this card. I'm not gonna lie. There's a couple of matches that do pique my interest.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I mean, I
about the Paul Roman match for probably all the wrong reasons, but
yeah, I think the match that I'm most intrigued in is one that they announced on Raw, and that's Bianca Bailey, Last Woman Standing.
Yeah,
that's gonna be brutal. It's gonna be a game changer. It's definitely gonna be into the feud, whatever way it goes.
Yeah,
it has to be at this point.
I mean, we'll go more into predictions.
Yeah, next week.
We'll do a pre-show 1 hour before. In the morning, get your breakfast.
Right.
I can't. Freaking 8:00 a.m. start for us. So screw us on the West Coast. Clearly.
Seriously, like I literally. Okay, put this in perspective. On a weekday when I got to take the kids to school, I'm up at 6:30.
Right.
On the weekends, I usually get up between 8 and 9. So I'll literally be rolling my ass out of bed, coming here to watch it. Like.
Yeah, at 8 on Saturday, at 8 I should probably at least be in LA on the way home by then. If not, Valley, heading toward home.
If you're lucky.
Traffic doesn't bite you in the ass.
Well, luckily I'll be on transit every point of the way. So worst case scenario, I'll like I said, I think because Saturday's train schedules are shittier, but I think I'll be at least in LA, if not the Valley. So I'll still be a good hour from home, but I'll probably catch the second half of you guys calling and definitely open mic then on it, which is awesome.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I usually Saturdays I just get up whenever. It's the day of the week that's like freedom. So it's gonna be interesting.
I was telling Jay off air, I'm off the next 2 Saturdays as well. So I will be able to be at least on open mic night post Crown Jewel and hopefully there for the end of Crown Jewel. But I will be on call with you, brother, for hot time, baby.
I figured you already got that pay-per-view. Yes, Hannah King coming over round 2. Let's fucking go for the Burke. By the way, what a great match with Miami Tommy on Raw 44 last night. New Japan Pro Wrestling making history once again with the Stardom crossover. As she contended for the SWA Championship, a title where it is only defended against challengers of a different nationality. So it can't be Japan versus Japan, which I thought was very unique. I was really looking forward to the idea of Kylan King taking that to challenge somebody over in the UK, in Japan, in Mexico. But either way, I hope that's not the only time I see Kylan King involved in New Japan Pro Wrestling. I want to see more Stardom. That was a great pay-per-view last night.
They need her booked on the regular after that, no doubt about it. What do you think about the Guns winning the tag titles on Strong?
Unbelievable! I did not see that coming. I mean, I understand Aussie Open bravado, but it's like, okay, you beat us in Impact Wrestling. Come to face on his own turf. And then the Young Lions, the Young Lions. That's the LA Dojo system. That's what it's about, fighting spirit. But the Royce Machine Guns now are champions in New Japan Pro Wrestling. They've won tag titles virtually everywhere. What the hell?
You're going to say, they're far from Young Guns. They're as old as me and Jay.
Right?
And they're still going.
I'm watching since the XMB days, for Christ's sakes. We've had them on the show in the XMB days, for Christ's sakes.
And again, Taya Valkyrie, she ruled that. It's amazing how much the wrestling industry and the scope of crossover and collaboration versus competition has really breathed lately, outside of WWE, especially this past few months. And again, I can't wait to see what else is next. And I'm looking forward to everything in November. And yes, Jeff, I already got AEW Full Gear covered. So you got the NWA, I got AEW. JJ, we got 2 shows a week. We got everything this month. Let's freaking go.
It's a huge smorgasbord this month. Like, it's literally a buffet.
You figure that 6 weeks, 5 of those weeks will be on the air covering 6 different companies. Oh, no.
One show.
5 different companies under the WWE banner, but still.
Right, and then you got 2 other shows that may not necessarily be covered here, but I'm still going to engage with. You got Impact Wrestling's Impact Plus Special Overdrive, Frankie Kazarian, your boy, challenging Josh Alexander for the Impact World Championship in the main event. And then the first ever Stardom NJPW crossover pay-per-view where you got Great Muta even involved.
Seriously, Muta's on that retirement run, man, and good on him for being involved. I love that. I will say this before we move on to the next thing, because you mentioned her. There are very few things that make me happy in women's wrestling than the rejuvenation of Taya Valkyrie post NXT. Oh my God, am I happy for her? Jesus.
Yeah, I hear that. I'm sure we'll talk more about women's wrestling too. Maybe the PWI, because I saw the list and I've already heard the things about that.
Like I said on, I think it was either Greg's show or even during Snapway Sports Bar, because I couldn't do my own show last week because I was heading for the hockey game, which glad I won Tuesday's game. Thursday's game, I could have been on a review and not worried about it. Damn it. Jesus, what a horrible game Thursday was. I think just kind of is what it is for me at this point. I know some people subscribe, and that's great. I used to be a subscriber myself, but there's so much not in their favor now as far as how kayfabe they keep things. Just like I kind of go back and forth. Like I'm not, deriding people that made the top 10 or the top 150. That's great, especially women's wrestling. If you're one of the top wrestlers in the world on the female side of things, then you deserve all the recognition you can get, especially when it's still a man's world, unfortunately, in wrestling. So
they know their worth, and they're worth more than most men in this industry. And I'm talking about a particular few that weren't in the top 10 included.
Yeah, and I love that there were so many non-WWE people this time, including people from Stardom. Stardom topped the list. So
yes!
And great on them, man. That was wonderful.
I was so damn happy to see that professional wrestling fucking win. Siri, who has been a phenomenal World of Stardom champion, 8 or 9 successful title defenses, all bangers over 20 minutes. She beat Utami Hanashida last year for the red belt. She is an incredible professional wrestler. Well deserved. Cannot wait for her match at the end of the year on the final card of Stardom. The Queendom, I forget what it's called, Dream Queendom. It's a weird name. So many different names like clash with each other. Of course, it's literally a few days before Wrestle Kingdom. We'll talk more about that later, folks. Yes. But her versus Julia, who just celebrated her 5th year now in a Stardom. Congrats to her. Dado del Mundo. That's going to be a hell of a match, and there's a lot of personal history with that one, too, considering they were in the same faction. Then Siri went off with her own faction, created her own faction. It's amazing how far Stardom has come, too, in their 11 plus years. I love it.
And for those of you watching at home, Noah's recent thing there will be transcribed at half speed at midnight tonight. That way you can all understand what because he ran off on that. And that was awesome. I fucking love that. Because women's wrestling in Japan, you got Noah's attention for sure.
For real.
And I love that you're passionate about it. I love people who are passionate about women's wrestling, and I'm glad that PWI is doing the list. I'm not, again, just the list itself just kind of is what it is, but these women definitely deserve the recognition. I love that they got it, and it just kind of is what it is. I still say that at this point, Aaron will half chuckle but half be like happy I did this. I think the NoDQ awards, which are voted on by the fans, is very much more important than anything, Slammies, Observer, whatever, because the fans just dictate how those votes go.
Exactly. When it's your own true opinion that dictates a result that you all can, to a degree, fairly agree on versus something that you breed or click. Hello. I feel that makes much more of a important matter when it comes to recognizing people for their opinions and suggestions. But anyway, let's get back on the tracks here. Sorry for that detour. JJ, what's next?
Yes.
It's all good. I just got a couple more comments that popped in here. Elizabeth said, thanks for the answer, Jeff. That 6-man tag, Carl Anderson really made a mess of things. We'll go more in depth with that next week prior to Crown Jewel.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Not happy on that, though.
Cena asked about the Bloodline segment. We will definitely be talking about that a little bit later.
Goosey, Jesus Christ. I haven't stopped judging since this morning about that. It's so ridiculous.
That's going to become word of the year, I fear, at this point. Damn it, Sammy.
That was just great. But like I said, we'll get in depth with that later because there's
still much more to discuss.
But the first actual thing that I was going to bring up, fresh for this week, occurred on Raw.
Yeah.
I'm this generation's Eddie Guerrero.
Oh, boy.
Oh, Lord. Oh, God.
I'm like, okay, Dominic, I get that you're trying to get the cheap heat and the crowd pop for dropping the Guerrero name, but no, Dominic.
No.
That's a bad Dominic. But here comes Bully Ray with a hot take.
Bully Ray, oh, God. That's a whole
They did the angle years ago with Eddie possibly being Dom's dad. What about Dominic taking the Guerrero last name over the Mysterio last name? I'm saying to myself, wouldn't it be monster heat for Dominic to renounce, drop, get rid of the Mysterio last name? There can be nothing more insulting to the family than for Dom to say that he is disgusted by this last name.
This is why Bully's the man, right there.
That is
I
definitely
agree with 100%.
Yeah.
He is on the money there. JJ, you and I talked about this a lot off air when Dom first debuted. They should have done that from the minute he got himself ready for primetime, if you will, SNL style. He should have been like, nah, you brought me into this role in the first place with your deception and your bullshit. I'm gonna drop you, and since my real father can't be here to carry on his legacy because of what this business did to him, I'm gonna carry on the Guerrero name, and you can kiss my ass, Dad, and just boom, off the races they go.
The problem with that statement, Jeff, just to nitpick, is Dominic still isn't ready for prime time. Dominic needs to do like a serious 6-month to a year stint in NXT. That's the biggest problem with Dom, is that he was fast-tracked to the main roster because he's a Mysterio.
I know.
Ron Breakker is still cutting his teeth in NXT.
Right.
To be fair, though, there was a point where he was on Raw.
Well, yeah, but they realized their mistake, and what Jay's saying is they didn't realize the mistake with Dom until it was too late.
That's fair.
I will say this.
2020.
I think, and again, this is just me, Monday morning quarterbacking for you sports kids out there. I think they kind of went too deep in it to pull back at that point where let's take him off TV. Unless they did a major injury angle where like they like Rey Mysterio his knee, then yeah, for a year you're good to go. But because they didn't, maybe that's why they put him with the Judgment Day. And since he threw the name out there anyway, might as well go for it at this point. I do agree with Bully at this stage now where they are, where, okay, he's going to be on TV. He's going to be on the premium live events anyway. It's Haunted Mansion. There's no turning back now. Might as well just go ahead and just go forward with it. And, if he does this, I'm not saying do exactly what I said, because that's, at this point, it's a little bit like, okay, well, whatever, But having him renounce the Mysterio name in favor of the Guerrero name would be, as Bully said, talk about cheap heat. That's freaking free heat. That's inexpensive heat right there. That's just like asking the fans to give you X-Pac heat for all the right reasons. So I'm here for that. And again, we're starting to creep up on the end of the year into next year. I still maintain that with the right amount of tutelage and the right amount of proper training, that Mysterio versus Mysterio could still be a viable WrestleMania encounter.
I think they just put him on SmackDown for now to hold that off. I honestly think that is, like I said, we talk about long-term storytelling. I feel like that might be an approach that Triple H could be doing. You think about Survivor Series War Games, if in some capacity Dominic and Rey do clash, maybe a traditional Survivor Series match, that could be the seeds starting to be planted all the way to the Rumble, potentially for an encounter between the two of them in the same Rumble match. You literally could probably draw this thing out to a WrestleMania program if portrayed the right way. As far as, the Guerrero versus Mysterio name drop, that's some strong character development with a lot of realism to it, considering when you think about how Dominic was brought in. At one point, Guerrero did call him his papi, and there was real-life family heat there. Orderly. So, honestly, JJ, and if the fact of the matter is, yeah, he's not ready for prime time, but with him in the Judgment Day, he is protected to a degree because it's not just him on his own. So, I feel like they kind of can go with this. They've already basically put the lore out there. Now it's just a matter of someone biting for it. So I think he's got the audience in the palm of his hands at the moment. He's just waiting to hook him in. Doing that maybe with an approach like, okay, any tactics during a match, whether tag or singles, lie, cheat, and steal. Pulling off his own form of Latino heat. I don't ever see him pulling up in a lowrider. That may be a little bit too much right there, especially with the arena bills nowadays. But, some of those mannerisms and moves and tactics that Guerrero even implemented in his offense in matches. If Dominic starts exploiting that and slowly teasing, dropping the Mysterio name versus the Guerrero name, that's a hell of a way to build actual heat. This could actually go somewhere.
I definitely see an encounter in the Rumble. I don't know about Survivor Series. I feel like that would be too quickly forced at this point, personally. I feel like with the fact that they just moved Ray to SmackDown, trying to do that like a month later.
I guess because he is in the Intercontinental Championship program, you do have a point because that match has not happened yet. So you might be fair to say Survivor Series might be a bit of a rush, but still, the fact they could be in the same building, even them just walking by each other.
Yeah,
just saying.
Yeah, that definitely could happen, but I definitely foresee something happening in the Rumble. I see Dom maybe eliminating Ray in the Rumble.
Mm-hmm.
No, you mentioned one of JJ's favorite phrases, long-term storytelling. I'll never forget watching it back. I wasn't a fan at this point, but all these years later, I watched it back. Hogan and Andre wrestled WrestleMania 3. Of course, they had the big controversy with the slam that didn't happen and the 3 count that really wasn't a 3 count.
Right.
They took that, and again, at that point, there were literally 2 pay-per-views a year, so they could do it this way. But hear me out. They took it all the way to Survivor Series, had them in opposite teams. Andre's the sole survivor. So they continue to feud all throughout the year on television. They get to the Rumble. They have the contract signing for the main event on NBC. At the Rumble, continue the story. They have their second match. They're what's supposed to be the blow-off, and there's controversy. They can take the Mysterio versus Ray versus Dom feud to WrestleMania if they build it at least somewhat like that. I'm not saying have them in the ring of Survivor Series, like you just said, it's too soon, but that hallway side eye, like, really, motherfucker, and keep going. Interaction in the Rumble, have Ray get so flustered or verklempt about it that he challenges Dom. He finally says enough.
That's right. The father has not broken yet against his son. He refuses to.
Yeah. You combine the elements of the long feud with Hogan and Andre and the Undertaker Kane build-up where Undertaker stood steadfast, refused, finally went, all right, damn it, enough. And then they fight at Mania.
There you
Any
go.
further thoughts on that, JJ?
No, I mean that pretty much sums it up. Matt says, hello, JJ, Noah, and Jeff. How you doing tonight? We're doing well, Matt. Thank you for being here.
Always
Big
good to see
G in the house. Hey.
Big Fella. How you doing, Big G?
Happy to be here.
Always happy to be here.
Big G, was it the football game you're going to tonight or tomorrow, or is it next Sunday? I lost track of my calendar when we last talked, so forgive me.
Hassan says Judgment Day, the group is bad, but he liked the pay-per-view. I disagree, Hassan. I think the Judgment Day group is really good, minus the questionable state of Dominic within the group.
Yeah.
Finn Balor is an amazing talent, always has been.
Yep.
He's so suited for this group. I wish he would be Demon Balor more with the darkness of this group. Personally,
bring it out,
but
bring it out.
Kind of is what it is there. Damian Priest, I've been impressed by this dude since I first laid eyes on him. I knew there was something special about him, and he got the Intercontinental title, and then he was just kind of there.
Yeah,
it's kind of like Punk with the World Heavyweight title. He was champion, but was he really?
No, he wasn't the focus. He was just a part of the cog in the machine.
So now that he's finally getting to show how special he truly is, Rhea Ripley.
Oh, Rhea is the ace of this group.
Grossly underrated.
Damn right.
Grossly underrated. I mean, we're talking Reagan barfing up pea soup in The Exorcist. Grossly underrated.
She's only had like one match, by the way, since being really... back per se on our screen. She's done more from a character standpoint in the Judgment Day than the other 2 people before Dom was inserted have for the longest time. Without Rhea Ripley, the Judgment Day right now, it's kind of just a couple people floating. She completes it.
Yeah. Granted, Damien's new, probably too new to say this. They've all been grossly underused and underrated. From the moment they came to the... Now, granted, Dom is still green as grass. I'm not even going to try
it. Let's put it out there.
They've all been either underutilized or underappreciated or not properly utilized or harnessed the way they should have been, especially in Finn Balor. Oh, my dear Lord.
Yeah.
as far as Judgment Day pay-per-view, I'm biased. I love that pay-per-view. I'm particularly fond, as brutal as it still sounds in my head to this day, of that Eddie Guerrero JBL match.
I was there for that.
I was going to say, you were there for that, brother. Man, Bradshaw hit Eddie like he owed his mama money. Like, God damn, he laid poor Eddie Guerrero wide the hell open on that.
Cracked that boy over the head worse than John Cena.
And if you don't know what we're talking about, go to the cock and find it on there. Watch it.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then if you can stomach the blood in that match, try to stomach the blood the following year when Bradshaw and John Cena had their I Quit match.
One of my favorite matches of all time. Again, like I said on the NoDQ review, just sell a sub-tangent. You don't need every pay-per-view centered around a gimmick on your marquee just to sell something. If it hurts storytelling, which moreover it has. Oh, look, this is here and it's centered around this. We're going to have 2 or 3 of them. F that, it doesn't actually push a story or build a character. Less pay-per-views, more focus on storytelling. You build a better structure in top stars in your company. Judgment Day and pay-per-views like Unforgiven, pay-per-views with themes to them that were culminations of storylines is what really elevated and progressed people in the WWE. That's what's been missing.
Armageddon was one that I really loved.
Ah, yes, Mr. Kennedy and Undertaker, The Last Ride.
And then I know it was talked about on the review, but Taboo Tuesday, Cyber Sunday. I loved that show.
Underrated. Absolutely. I will say this, Noah, 3 of the best feud ender / blow-offs were at the secondary pay-per-views in gimmick matches, but not gimmick shows.
Exactly.
I Quit, Cena versus Bradshaw, Judgment Day, like we talked about. Also a Judgment Day, Hell in a Cell, Jericho versus Triple H. Way overlooked match considering that stacked card. I'm not even going to front. And then Vengeance 05, Batista, Triple H, inside Hell in a Cell.
I'll go even one more with you. Triple H and Shawn Michaels, Hell in a Cell, No Mercy. Or Bad Blood, excuse me, Bad Blood. Sorry.
Bad Blood 04. No Mercy was Jericho and Shawn and their feud blow-off, which was also...
Yeah, which of course came down to the fact that at the SummerSlam, Chris Jericho
basically
hit his wife.
It's one of the... Right.
And let's not forget the No Mercy ladder match, the Hardys and Edge and Christian.
Yes.
Yeah. Which wasn't a feud ender, but definitely a kickstart to not only their feud, but all 3 teams' careers. In fact, the W's in there too.
Exactly.
You don't need a gimmick pay-per-view. I know this went into way deep on the review.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Gimmick pay-per-views to pull off gimmick matches, and gimmick matches should be saved for feud enders. You know, that's why I'm still very hesitant about this War Games thing.
Yeah.
We'll see Survivor Series, but it needs to be something that means something. Because like I said, when I was on for longer than 5 minutes on a recent show, War Games was always Horsemen versus the people that the Horsemen had just done wrong so many times that they had to be like, nah, lock these MFers up and take them out.
Well, we'll touch on War Games a little bit later when we get to the Sami Zayn thing.
Yes.
All right.
Let me run through a couple more comments here.
This is great.
Legendary Static said, "Wow, that was good about the way we booked that stuff."
Thank you.
Elizabeth said, "Even if you were to remove the Mysterio name in favor of Guerrero, he'd still be a Mysterio in many people's eyes, including his own or her own. Excuse me. Changing the last name would do little in that opinion." I can agree with that.
It's one of those things where you draw into the character.
Right.
Not necessarily, how you figure the guy on paper. Again, we are reacting to a character. Dominic Mysterio is still Rey Mysterio's son. And as far as we know off screen, the real family stuff. But as far as right now, he is literally the biggest dick to his father.
Exactly.
I mean, if you go to the DMV, it's still going to be Oscar Gutierrez and his son named Gutierrez.
There you go.
Hassan says SmackDown and Rampage last night were awesome. Agreed. Again, we will get to SmackDown a little bit later. A says, hello, everyone. Catching up on SmackDown last night on the Bray Wyatt segment right now.
Okay,
Definitely
cool.
was a good one.
Ladies
and gentlemen, joining the chat room, Mikey T in the house. Open mic night. I'm here.
What is good?
I saw you in the green room, bro. I was just trying to wait for us to get to a moment break where I could usher you into the conversation.
Yeah,
well,
don't
you
be
know,
like
I
a
was
WWE
kind of going for
interruption.
the I was going for the Bray Wyatt vibe. You know what I mean?
Dude,
I'm
like the whole
here.
cryptic
What
video
was
thing.
supposed to be? He's here.
I'm here.
I gotta say, I like the fact that the stubble is back, bro. You looked weird, all clean shaven, whatever it was a week ago. Like,
Was I?
Yeah, you were clean shaven like a week or two ago, and it was just like, man, that's not my Mikey T. It's like
Wow.
going his NXT dip.
My
Like,
Mikey, damn it! Buy the shirt
double.
soon.
Yeah, man. A lot of people feel that way that Noah feels about NXT when I first started growing the beard. Because, like, for a while, I would never grow the beard. I'd be looking like the Meach. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I wasn't growing the beard for the while, but then I started growing the beard, and I just haven't really stopped since then.
I gotta get mine trimmed down and lined up. I'll probably do that next week.
It's funny you say that because I got the Meach nickname in high school when I couldn't grow a beard to spank my own ass with both hands. So I appreciate the reference. Yeah, the beard didn't come till well into adulthood. So it's definitely true. Babyface Meach in high school was definitely like clean babyface. Didn't need to shave. So yeah.
There you go.
Does Noah unknowingly have the Beetlejuice vibe going on tonight?
We talked about that when we started the show.
It's the Halloween. It's the Halloween special
spirit
tonight. You got JJ McFly. You got Beetlejuice Foster over here. You know.
Damn, I wish I had something to go along with the set.
Hey, I only found out it was
Cleaver in the
Halloween,
house.
so I threw my cast member jacket on and said, "I'm a cast being a guest."
Yeah, I wish I had a little.
What's
what
up,
up,
Cleaver?
Colin? What's
Thank you
poppin',
for
dude?
dropping in for a moment before you get to bed. I'm sure you had a long day at work doing your gig.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we all have our days.
I appreciate Colin's gig more and more, being in the kitchen every day and the role he handles every day, man. Because the chef role is no joke, brother. Cheers to you, man.
Yeah,
So really quickly, before we move on to the next topic, Mikey, do you have anything that you want to add to Dominic saying that he's this generation's Eddie Guerrero, or Bully Ray's comment about how they did the angle years ago with Eddie possibly being Dom's dad? What about Dominic taking the Guerrero last name over the Mysterio last name? I'm saying to myself, wouldn't it be monster heat for Dominic to renounce, drop, get rid of the Mysterio last name? There can be nothing more insulting to the family than for Dom to say that he is disgusted by this last name.
Orderly.
Anything you want to throw into the circus here on that topic before we move to the next one?
Oh yeah, for sure. But yeah, definitely shout out to Colin, because he had me living right in Virginia Beach. We actually stayed in Virginia Beach for a little. We did a little vacation right around the same time, and I was like down the street from him. It was just about a week apart though, so we didn't get to run into each other. But so this Dominic segment that I didn't see actually, but I heard about, and it really amped me up. I'm like, this guy Dominic, you know, Dominic has kind of sucked for the last few months, you know, whether he's on his Dante Martin shit where he's just a little bit too slow in the ring or messing up with his acrobatics. But, you know, Dominic saying this line has made me respect him a little bit more.
Really?
Yeah, it kind of has, man. The fact that what did he say? Did he say, I'm this generation's Eddie Guerrero?
I'm this generation's Eddie Guerrero.
Or did he say, I thought he had said.
Eddie Guerrero was that generation's Dominic. Damn.
He is a absolute badass for saying that. You know what I mean? If he can build on this, he possibly can have some realistic heat and possibly go somewhere in his career. I'm really impressed that he actually said that. You know what I mean? But it's a really kind of an asshole thing to say. We'll see if he can build on it.
And Colin's comment, JJ and I being parents, we understand baby shit can certainly be green. So no, Colin, we feel your pain, brother.
I don't ever have to worry about that.
Ooh, man.
So
baby shit's the worst. It's the worst smelling thing in the history of the damn universe. Even worse than chicken. Oh my God, it's bad.
Yeah, man. And honestly, that's how Dominic's career has been feeling, even with his first couple weeks with the Judgment Day, it really sucked with him really not knowing what to do, him not knowing how to handle the heat that he's getting from the audience.
Exactly.
This guy could be one of the biggest heels, y'all.
Well,
he's got the potential.
He very much came off like a very young Dwayne Johnson, not understanding the heat from the crowd. But now that he's embraced it like Dwayne did, shit, sky's the limit for him now. It really is.
It's interesting that you bring that up, Jeff, because to transition into our second topic, not Noah's NXT.
Oh boy.
Damn it.
Damn it.
What we got?
Made history this past week as we were introduced to the very first 4th generation superstar.
Ah, The Rock's daughter.
Yes, she was the mystery person under the mask for the schism.
Love it.
How fitting, like father, like daughter. Start your way inside a faction.
Exactly. That's exactly what I thought. Is like, this is Rocky joining the Nation of Domination.
Yes.
There's a word my friend Eric, go follow him at Near Rally Entertainment on YouTube, it's the Wrestleverse, says when stuff like this happens. Symbolism! I like it a lot because for me, here's the thing. Hi, Jeff. When I think about, you're building new stars, you don't want to literally try and Control-C, Control-V, aha. So what's the thing that you expect out of somebody associated with The Rock, let alone the daughter of The Rock? Do you expect the woman's eyebrow per se? Do you expect her to be fire on the mic? Do you expect her to take his catchphrases?
A baby face, right?
Yeah, do you expect babyface or heel? Right now, we're going to see character development. That's what this NXT, damn it, if it's not even mine, is supposed to be at the forefront. This actually intrigues me, and I don't have a problem with this because right now we're going to see how she can present herself. Because in WWE, I say it all the time, it's not just about what you do in the ring. It's about how you sell, how you entertain, how you engage. And while I have no idea what the F schism means, the fact that she finally has a role that protects her, because again, you want to talk about green, she's the last form of green there is because this is literally day one. I'm very curious to see how she builds herself in NXT. Good start.
I mean, I watched her, and she definitely seemed a little shaky on the mic. Like there might have been some nerves in her gut.
The breathe,
cutting that first promo,
delivery, the pause.
But the stuff that she was saying, if she can just work a little bit more on her selling of the words,
yes,
I am down to see where Ava Rain, it's her gimmick name,
I'm
goes
gonna have to
from
get
here.
used to that. I will say that. Still, names is a whole different thing, but I'll have to get used to that.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Her name is actually Simone Johnson.
Yes.
Okay.
Former name.
I thought so, but I just didn't want to say it and be wrong. So
That's fair.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, just the fact that she is there now.
Yeah.
Right there, we've already got another seed planted for potential transfer to the bloodline if they stay going longer than Mania. Because let's be real, she's not going to be ready for main roster until at least Mania. More realistically, probably SummerSlam.
Right.
And that's almost a whole other year for the bloodline to be running roughshod. I personally don't think they'll last that long, but it's another potential member because of the family connection.
Well, that's one way you could look at it, JJ. But the way I see it, not everybody in the Nai family has to literally be a Nai, aka bloodline. Again, I feel like, you say first ever 4th generational talent. Ava could literally build her own legacy, not even being associated with the bloodline at all. And right now, nothing about this presentation, this character, this look, screams bloodline to me. So we'll see how far this venture goes and where it takes her. And yeah, Colin, I completely agree. We all know how much WWE is scripted. I feel like NXT literally has a teleprompter on the hard cam screen. She definitely needed something.
I love how it's a Kushida costume all of a sudden.
Hey, we're on a wrestling show. Why not?
Love it.
I get it. Like I've seen him a couple times, so I get the reference. But
Former
like
IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion multiple times over. Get well soon, by the way.
That's not JJ's reference. Damn it. Anyway,
I'm the movie guy. I'm the movie guy. Come on, let's go to the movie reference.
Look, JJ and I are contrast. He is Mr. Movies. I am Mr. Professional Wrestling.
Hello.
Damn it.
But
he digresses by the shirt.
By his shirt, that's right.
He's a punny MFer.
Yeah, that's right. He sure is. I
I
think Simone Ava has it's all there. It just needs to be unlocked, and it needs time to be unlocked. Needs time. You need time to have that seed planted, let it grow into a blossom that we can actually cultivate properly as fans, and they can cultivate properly as talent as WWE can.
I figure it took Rocky about 8 months from debut at the Survivor Series until he got injured, came back from injury, and joined the Nation.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And while he came in full head of steam in his debut at the Survivor Series with the god awful pineapple Jerry curl, winning the Intercontinental Championship from Hunter in February, he kind of just was there after that.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
The fans weren't getting behind him because he was too cookie cutter white meat baby face in an era when they were trying to get a bit away from that. And that's why the Rocky Die started in the first place.
And then he found a way to embrace it.
Yeah. I'm going to be very curious to see what the fan reaction is in a couple months to Ava. Like, is it going to turn into a similar thing where it's Die Ava Die, much like her dad got chanted?
It depends how they showcase her, and also, is it just going to be character development, or are we actually going to see her do some in-ring work? Again, both matter, but right now it looks like we're trying to figure out and establish the character.
Yeah,
Mikey, I think the key to that is this. Right now, the guy in charge of creative is Triple H. The guy in charge of NXT is Shawn Michaels. Both of those guys saw Rocky Maivia, Dwayne Johnson crash and burn, and as they're trying to shove that baby face down our throats, saw him get hurt, saw him come back, saw him have Vince transform him into The Rock with the Nation thing. I think Triple H and Shawn Michaels, if anybody can realize the error of WWF's ways, won't let that happen to Simone, whatever I call it. Would I be off on that, or?
Yeah, that's why they're bringing her in like this rather than showcasing her when it comes to wrestling, I guess, because they're going to give her a chance to talk and flesh out her character. And being around Schism, she can mess up when she talks a little bit because all of those guys are a little bit quirky. She can pause if she's forgetting what she's saying, and it'll kind of just go with the group. But in reality, this is somewhat of a dead angle to me because before this, it's like, where's Schism going? It's kind of bland. Now with Ava Raine, it gives them, she's attached herself to something, and she can grow from that. Even if Schism ends up ending, Ava Raine could move on from there. I think maybe they should put another female in there, though she could actually have somebody to fight with, possibly. But like I said, I think they're just going to go with this for a few months, let her speak on the mic and kind of flesh herself out. And then who knows, maybe on the main roster, she could even drop the Ava Raine name and go as Simone. I kind of feel like that's what The Rock had envisioned in his mind, like with the one named superstars.
Yeah, I still think it's too soon for her to be on TV on any roster right now, period. I think she still should be in the PC developing. But as we've all heard from every superstar to be over the years, there's no better developer than being in front of a live audience, particularly a television audience. So we'll see.
And NXT has their smallest background.
This could be a hot take.
Half of it.
This could be a hot take, but I wonder if they're trying to flesh the Schism out to be their version of the Judgment Day.
That's what it's seemingly looking like. I mean, the way they're putting a female with the groups lately, it's not so much just with the Judgment Day. They've kind of been doing that recently to showcase the women. Like we've all talked about it with Naomi, Jeff, but I think it would be better with Ava. Noah, I think it would be better with Ava.
Well, I mean, again, she
9 months away, though. A year away.
Right, like I
But
said,
that's assuming the bloodline can run that long.
Right,
They're
and we have no
running
idea
through
how
SummerSlam, JJ. The WrestleMania is not the end. The Rock can't be the end because they still got to put the strap on somebody that makes sense to run with after they do the thing with The Rock, like a Cody is what I'm thinking.
I mean, that's a fair shout. Like I said, just because she is related to the Nine Fed doesn't mean she has to literally be assumed that, okay, you're going to be in this spot maybe a year from now. Again, I'm curious, but right now she's got a character and she's got a shadow to protect her in this group. We'll see how she handles that pressure and that influence. And so far right now, she's just trying to establish selling a promo. Even if it was only 2 sentences, there's still work to be done. Imagine her versus Flair.
That's a lot of pressure, and I say that because the only reason Charlotte versus Natty worked so well is because Charlotte had, I think it was a year, maybe even 2 under her belt before she had that big match with Natty on NXT TakeOver. Give Simone a couple years,
right,
and maybe have that torch style match with Charlotte, but man, not right now. I can't imagine it right now because she's so new.
Exactly.
You watch Charlotte's first match, it's kind of a train wreck.
Yeah, let's put it politely.
And also, they had Nate introduce her, which was the wrong thing to do because it immediately put the, it's Rick's daughter thing on her. They
no
went
pressure.
Completely opposite away. I don't think they even mentioned Dwayne or the Anoa'i family when she pulled that mask off. And if they did, I'm wrong and I'm sorry. But the fact is, they're trying to do everything they can to get Ava over as Ava. If they do end up pulling the trigger on Schism, like Mikey talked about, then they can reference back to it. But right now, she needs to prove that Ava can be a viable force within the NXT bubble and then possibly move her up to Raw or SmackDown. But as far as people in the bloodline, like we've talked about, there's still that giant elephant in the room named Naomi and Sasha that are allegedly back within the good graces of the company, and they're not doing dick with them. Like if they're both back in the company, Naomi is granted married bloodline, but fucking Sammy's not even blood at all, and he's still with the damn group. So bring Naomi in as that female.
Well, I think Jeff, they're kind of building up right now. To me, from listening and watching some of the shows, it kind of seems like Candice LeRae. In a perfect world, it kind of seems like Candice LeRae would join Damage Control, and then it would be Bianca Belair, Bliss,
Alexa, Asuka,
and then I guess there's too many women on one side.
Well, no, because you figure if it's Damage Control 3 plus Candice, that fourth person could be either Sasha opposing her old friend Bailey, or Sasha, maybe siding in with Damage Control and Candice going on the other side of the chain. There's a lot of things that can work with that, but
that crossed my mind.
If
they need to do something with Candice LeRae right now, and maybe turning her and putting her in the faction, it'll keep her on television. Is my thought process.
I think Candice is a much better off as a heel than as a babyface. I think JT will agree with me on that as far as how we feel about Candice LeRae. Period.
I try not to give Candice LeRae too much credit, but yes, I do feel she would work better as a heel.
Better as a heel.
It's much easier to dislike Candice than it is to like Candice. I think we can both agree on that.
Exactly.
But
I already do.
I'm digging her, but I mean, just her win-loss ratio is getting off. They started her off so hot.
Well, but
kind of like Gargano losing to Otis. But my brother explained that to me, like, bro, it's Otis. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. They are still very high on Otis, number one. Number two, Gargano's not going to suffer from that. Candice continuing to lose frequently will be problematic unless they have a real reason for that. And again, we don't ever know the game on a lot of this stuff, but hopefully it'll work out. But getting back to the Ava thing, I think that if they truly especially Hunter and Sean, because Hunter was in the ring with him that night that Dwayne debuted, and Sean was in the main event, of course, against Sid in that disaster. So, disaster for the company, because people are like, "Oh my God, freaking New York totally made Sid a babyface by default." But they've got Ava here, and they've got the guys. I don't know their gimmick names right now, so forgive me. But Noah and I know them as the Glizzy Young Veterans.
Don't get me started on that rant. I still hate that. Not my NXT, damn it.
I'm trying, brother. I'm trying. And then you've got Joe. As long as they keep this like this, and they let Ava again develop her mic skills first and foremost, because I don't think she's ready in the ring yet. I don't see that being the thing. She's still way too new a signee to be ready for the ring on
I don't even see her on level up.
Right, exactly.
I thought she was better than that, you guys. I only seen a little tape though.
She's good. I just don't think she's NXT TV good yet.
That's the word.
And again, that's a low ball, but that's what NXT is supposed to be. It's supposed to be the starting point. So she'll get there, but if they let her hone that mic skills, even if she gets a 10th of that Via thing out of her, she'll be good to go.
Right. Again, it comes down to delivery, presentation, the emotional embracement, the way you connect to the audience with your words. You have to have more in front of you than just what you speak.
And again,
don't present yourself.
Don't emphasize the family ties, but allow. I mean, God, she's got Rocky Johnson in her. She's got The Rock in her. She's got Rikishi and Roman. She's got all those people.
The Knight family.
Like a blue streak. Let that come out of her over time. Let that be honed. Let that be harnessed. And then when she's ready to go in the ring, she can make people go, "Holy shit, she can do that too."
There you go.
What a shocker that she's made her way to TV this quickly too.
I said that on Tuesday. I was like, man, this seems soon as hell. But again, Triple H and Shawn Michaels know the big picture. So I have faith in DX. I always have, and I always will. And I will hope for the best, and as I always do, plan for the worst when it comes to WWE television.
Amen to that, Jeff.
You know this, no? You know this.
Of course I do. You know me.
All right, so moving on, we've covered Monday Night Raw. We've covered not Noah's NXT.
Damn it.
Damn it!
Oh, AEW next.
No, don't really have any AEW direct. It's indirect. We're going to talk a little bit about SmackDown, specifically a certain honorary member of the line. And a quote that was made by a man who is better than you, and you know it.
Yes.
MJF says, I think Sami Zayn is one of the most entertaining professional wrestlers on the planet. Has been for a very long time. Hasn't always had the platform and the opportunity to show the world that. I feel now that he is getting that platform, it's becoming more clear than it ever was that he is next level.
Yeah.
Now, let's break this down in two ways. Number one, you just got Maxwell Jacob Friedman from the opposition putting you over like Rover.
Yep.
And how often do we hear Max say anything that positive about anybody else? He's always tooting his own horn, Arn Anderson style, toot toot. So for him to go into an interview and just totally put Sammy over, that's a side of Maxwell that I don't think anybody ever really thought they'd see. Number one.
Yeah, he tends to go on the show he made that claim on. He did a long show, then they kind of broke up into YouTube snippets or shorts as they call it on YouTube. He actually does praise WWE more often than probably that Tony likes. Let's not kid ourselves. But
including Roman Reigns. He's even talked about Roman Reigns.
Dude, and he's not lying. Roman Reigns.
No, he's not.
Like, Roman Reigns is exactly what Roman Reigns and Paul Heyman say Roman Reigns is every single freaking week. MJF is on the ball with it. But yeah, JJ, you and I got to see Sammy before he was Sammy. And you and I. Olay, exactly.
Hey, ole.
He wore a mask.
Here we go.
Then?
Yeah,
Yes.
El Generico.
Generico, baby.
Did he talk?
No.
Yeah.
No. Well,
yes and no.
Not nearly as much. Let's just put it out there.
He spoke in fake Spanish. Like he'd do the ole, he'd get interviewed and he'd be like, "Sí.
No.
Why did he first of all explain why he needed to do that? Like why did he he's very talented.
He's a goofball. That's just who he is as a
and it's always has been.
I didn't know that at first when he challenged Cena and when he faced Nakamura, you know?
Yeah.
That's fair.
His real personality is just that of your standard goober next door, like for real. He's just a goof. And that's what's so endearing about him.
And since W has let him embrace that and show it on television, MJF and Sammy are my two favorite things right now to watch in professional wrestling.
Yeah, that's what endears him to the fans so much. Is he's literally got that like underdog type of gimmick to him. Even back when he was Generico, you figure he would get beat up. He had great tag team matches, great partners, whether it was Steen, whether it was Quicksilver after, Scorpio and Quicksilver broke up. They had just great matches, and it's real easy for a guy that's scrawny to get that underdog vibe to him. And then you figure going to Reign of Honor, becoming champion over there because the crowd just loves him so much. And then getting the call up to come to the big leagues, if you will.
Because of Regal.
Regal. Again, that mind, that recognize of talent.
Regal passed on MJF.
Regal saw Generico and Steen at PWG and I don't know if he called Vince from the venue or the next day, but it was definitely a thing.
And next thing you know, he had both Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens in NXT. Sami Zayn becoming the ultimate babyface, finally getting the NXT Championship, only to lose it to what was his friend turned bitter enemy and NXT rival, Kevin Owens. And now look at where both Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn are in WWE.
Yeah, because they're one of those setups that they work so well together either way. They just have that chemistry.
2016, go watch those matches.
They legit are Hunter and Sean.
Yeah, they are. No doubt.
You can put them together as DX, and they're over like Rover, and they click so well in the ring. They know exactly where each other is going to be for that tag team chemistry. And then you can have one of them turn heel, and you can have that blood feud that's just going to tear up the circuit from coast to coast. And it's very rare that you can find a set of friends that are that compatible with each other either way. Cabana and Punk, prior to their huge fallout, were very much the same.
Across the world, those two guys took that thing. Punk and Cabana. But yeah, when you figure Generico's entire, Sami Zayn's entire Generico backstory was literally, he was El Generico, Mikey. He was the generic luchador. That's the gimmick name. That's why he's called Generico. And he literally had the hood on, and his backstory was he was from Tijuana. He was an orphan. He really didn't have anything going for him, but he could wrestle like nobody else. So they brought him into PWG to be a wrestler, got his ass whooped a bunch of times, ended up becoming, I believe, a PWG double champion. He was both world champion and tag team champion with various partners, as you said, over the years, Jay. And then he went to Ring of Honor, did the same thing over there.
And became the champion?
I believe he definitely TV champion. He may have been world champion. You'll have to back me up on that. No, I'm not 100% sure about the world title.
I don't recall the world title. I know TV title is definitely.
I've heard you and JJ speak about El Generico over the years. So just to hear you guys break it down in full like that is a YouTube short, my friend.
Generico was so, put it this way. JJ and I got to talk to, I forget how you say his real first name, so forgive me, but we got to talk to Generico a lot after shows, or when he was not in the ring, because PWG was wide open as far as being out, in the parking lot, meeting up with people and everything. So at that point, before PWG became too big for their britches, we got to talk to people like Generico, people like. Well, there was my people got to talk to Kevin's team more than I did, because Kevin and I just we clashed. It was just a clash of people. It was what it was. But we got to talk to these people, and I saw Generico. I saw Sami Zayn coming out of Generico even back then. There was just something that wasn't WWE click yet, and whatever it was got harnessed in Ring of Honor. And then when he came back to PWG, it was when Regal saw him and went, Jesus.
I'm on his wiki page. Just to interrupt real quick, I'm on his wiki page. He was TV and tag champ in ROH, was not world. Yeah. I stand corrected on that. Did get match of the decade for the 2010s in ROH against Steen from Final Battle 2012.
My God, what a
against Steen?
Yeah.
Two-time Kevin Owens.
Two-time PWG champion, 5-time PWG tag champion. Once with Human Tornado, once with Quicksilver, once with Paul London, twice with Steen.
Right.
Bola 2011 winner.
I remember that. Yep. Oh, yeah.
DDT 4 tournament winner with Paul London.
The only to win both back then at that point.
Match of the year in 06 and 07 for SoCal Uncensored from Gorilla.
Yep.
06 was against the man that Gravity forgot, now known as the Bastard, Pac.
Yep.
And 07 was Bryan Danielson.
That's a match right there that I always wanted to see.
So the 07 match was, I believe, the one that Danielson took the title back from Generico right as he signed with Developmental originally. So that was Bryan's exit, and he wins the damn world title, which was such a good match. Jesus.
And then Sammy and Pac. Wow, this is major shit.
You guys got to see Neville. You guys get to see Pac on TV now. My God, Pac in PWG, and seriously, I don't shill for other companies very much besides the ones I help run. But get your hands on PWG DVDs for the love of freaking everything is good and pure in this world, because there's so much good shit from the.
I've only seen a few gems on YouTube from PWG.
I was going to say,
and if you can get your hands on a bunch of the ones from 05 through 07, you'll see me and Jeff a lot in the crowds. Generally on opposite ends of the ring, because I was on the side where they would make their entrances, which aren't usually shown on the DVDs because of copyright music. Jeff was on the opposite side with the No DQ crew.
Yeah, we always made sure we got front row, quote unquote, hard cam for reasons. Because we
wanted to show their stuff. Got the whole team with the No DQ shirts on.
Yeah, again, the first time I discovered El Generico and Kevin Steen was Ring of Honor for me, and then seeing both of them finally collide in NXT was freaking awesome. And that moment where Sammy won the NXT Championship, and then Kevin just planted him on the apron, and Regal that face where he just wanted to kill the guy. I was like, oh, here we go.
That's
Regal made that moment as much as Sammy and Kevin did, because everybody that knew that Regal recruited those guys. So Regal's just like, no, Kevin, what have you done? But Regal's probably going, I like it.
Regal's like, this is exactly why I recruited you. Like, I'm going to sell it on the microphone, like, no, but this is exactly
just like
why I
trying to hold him back while he's still angry.
Yeah, very much like he was at Max. It's probably like, can't praise you right now because, God damn it, Max.
I mean, again, he nodded, then he said, "You still have a lot to prove." Again, I'll say it once, I'll say it again. MJF and Sami Zayn are the best two fans about the entire wrestling business today. How's that,
bringing it back to the original point there. We discussed the whole MJF thing.
Yep.
This past week on SmackDown.
I'm sorry.
I'm assuming everyone either saw the show or saw the clip. Yeah, exactly. I mean,
oh dear Christ.
Sammy
Don't start.
Sammy dropping the Uzi.
Oh,
that's him. He did that.
That's totally his shtick.
Oh, it totally is.
That goes back to him being just that goober.
Yeah, he proved that he can do that now. He's like a level below Kurt Angle, maybe.
I would, when it comes to that stuff, I would put him on the same level. He is
He's
so
just earning
good
it
when
now.
it comes to that. So good. I mean, he was
brilliant.
able to break the entire bloodline. Jey Uso is in the middle of the ring trying to be pissed with Sammy. He's about to throw hands, and he's got to start covering his mouth and his face because he's trying not to crack up in the middle of the ring because Sammy's saying that he's not Usi enough.
And then Roman freaking embracing
Why
him,
did he
trying
crack
to
up
still
so
sell
bad?
it.
He had to know that line was coming.
No.
No.
No, he didn't. No, he didn't.
No.
The bit.
Uzi, you don't know when Uzi's coming, man. Like
I'll bet
that.
that there were
That was
little-
just
That's
them.
not a word you can script. That's not a word you can script. That is just Sammy.
It was a
And
feeling.
you can tell it wasn't scripted by the genuine reactions of the bloodline.
Everybody.
Exactly.
Everybody in the ring broke. You notice they did not show Solo Sikoa.
Fuck no. Nope.
He was probably losing his shit.
Yeah.
Jimmy was cracking up the whole time, but he didn't care because he's cool with Sammy.
Yeah.
Right.
But
Roman broke and he tried to compose himself for a minute, but then he was
did it
like, you know
perfect,
what?
though.
Fuck it. I'm gonna run with this.
Yeah.
Put his arm around Sammy. He's like, is that the problem? You just not Uzi enough?
Exactly.
I'm telling you, watch, mark my words. Monday Night Raw and Friday Night SmackDown this week leading up to Saudi Arabia, there will be I am Uzi signs in the crowd.
Oh,
Are you Uzi? I am Uzi. It is going to become a movement, and it brings us back to the War Games. Because Jay made that comment about how he bleeds for his family in the ring. And is Sammy willing to do the same?
Yeah.
The test will be at Survivor Series.
It has to be.
I swear, Jay, if I knew for a fact WWE wouldn't copyright ping me immediately, I would have an Uzi shirt on the Pro Wrestling Tees site right now. Like, I would have done it this afternoon after I watched the show. Because it's so gold. The entire bloodline broke. You notice they only showed Paul very briefly once. When he tried to, like, after Jay said what he said.
Yeah, and we were like, you fucked up.
Amazing. Jay's promo was great.
But the minute
Jay's promo again, you know, I didn't mean to step on you, Jeff. But let us not take a goddamn thing away from the passion behind Jay's
right there.
word.
There's a reason why he was the right hand man.
I was impressed.
And it still makes me think that could be the backup plan.
Yep.
If Rocky is not available.
Jay trying to surpass the tribal chief.
Yeah, as stuff in these motel rooms are anyway. When Jay said that line, because I was watching SmackDown here on my Roku Express on Hulu this afternoon. What little air is in here got sucked out of here. I don't give a damn. Tribal Chief says, I gasped so loud I had to knock at the to make sure I was okay.
That was a moment.
I looked at him.
That woke me up. That woke me up. I was like, boy, what the fuck you saying?
Exactly. That was Roman's expression. Like, for real. He had that expression on his face. Like, the fuck you just say, homie?
Yeah, it's we've been building to that since the Sammy J thing started. Like, because
no doubt.
Remember, the whole thing started with Roman and Jay beefing.
Mm-hmm.
And now we've kind of come back to that where it's like, yeah, Jay fell in line and Jimmy fell in line by proxy because Jay was getting his ass whooped so bad. But the Usos are still kind of like, I don't know about this. When Jay said that was a throwback to a year ago. People went, that's right. Jay's still not 100% sold on this. Whatever he throws out there to the crowd when he goes out there on TV, part of him's still back there a year and a half ago going, fuck this. This is stupid.
Yeah.
You know, I don't fully believe in this. And so my whole thing is when the entire bloodline buys into this so much that they're caught off guard when there's a silly moment. Like I said, they showed Paul once when Jay said his line. When Sammy said the UC line, the camera went to go toward Paul. Paul purposely backed himself out of camera because he was giggling himself stupid too. Like, that's how good it is. When a professional of 40-something years like Paul Heyman is reduced to trying to stay his ass off camera, you've got a golden thing here. MJF is 100% right. JJ and I talked about it more probably than we should have, as far as the evolution of Sami Zayn, this guy's always had it in him. It was very much like Mick Foley in 1993, 94. He was unbelievably gold. It just, the perception was he wasn't worthy of having WWE's golden shine on him. Sami Zayn has proved pretty much the entire time he's been up on main roster, and definitely in Noah's NXT, that he deserves that WWE shine on him. But this last year, this thing with the bloodline has got him to platinum, beyond gold status at this point.
He said it once on Renee Paquette's podcast when she interviewed her, because that's one of my regular listens.
Love
it. The sessions, that there's a certain psychology. That's really what WWE is. It's psychology. We talked about, bridging topics. You talk about Ava now. The psychology now we'll see with her character development, finding her own identity in WWE. Sami Zayn knew his identity, but he still wanted to hold that somehow in the WWE system, and he's found a way, even under the stupidest of booking circumstances, to use that to his advantage. And now he's part of the hottest act in the company. He's brilliant.
It's like I said on my post right before we went on, when I was talking about watching the Howie movies today. I got handed a shit pile today because I ended up not being able to go to work. And granted, I love that I get to be part of this, because I missed this shit so much, y'all, for real. But Sami Zayn was handed proverbial piles of shit for how many years on the main roster. And now, I mean, granted, some of it's been really good, but
yeah, he's tried to make a lot of it work.
Exactly.
Yeah. The thing is, people accuse me of being a Disney show. I'll be a corporate WWE show right now. Adam Pearce says it all the time. If you work hard and you treat people fairly, you will earn the respect you deserve. And that's exactly what the hell Sami Zayn has done. He's been nothing but working hard his entire freaking time in WWE. He's treated people more than fairly. We've seen it, on the regular. He's always done that with Indy fans, with WWE fans, with everybody. And he's earned the respect of the people in charge so much that, like you said, no, he's part of the hottest act in the company right now.
Yeah, and I wanted to say that if the WWE really built Sami right correctly, as he has the whole support now that he's been working towards getting, he was kind of like Daniel Bryan in the U.S. title scene for a while back then, and now he's ready for the main event, and it would be a money match of Sami Zayn versus MJF if the WWE could just get it right. They have a main eventer right in front of them, but they had Cesaro right in front of them as well as a main eventer. This makes me think, Jeff, because, everybody's talking about it. Aaron's big on it. Sami and KO versus the Usos. Is Sami really going to be positioned back in a tag team with being at his height of his singles career right now?
Careful how you phrase it. And I'll say that because is Sami going to be back in tag team? No. Sami and
not a bad thing.
Reuniting against the Usos, who, Roman or not, they are the top. They're part of the top act in the company right now. So I said this, I think, during either my 5 minutes on the air before the Mask of Mafia killed me off last week, or on whatever it was. The Usos versus Sami and Kevin is such a hot commodity, especially with if Sami gets abandoned or if Sami's the one that pulls that turn trigger himself. They have the opportunity where instead of the women main eventing one night, that match could, I dare say, should.
All right. So let me throw something at you, Jeff. We got because pulling Sami away from the bloodline is like burning money right now. We have another way we can go with this. I think we all know it. It's like burning money, pulling Sami away from the bloodline. We love it on television every week.
Yeah, especially since they just generated that honorary Uso shirt. Like, that is probably selling like hotcakes right now.
They have an out, you guys. They can keep Sami with the bloodline through WrestleMania. They could do the Usos versus Sami and Solo. The Usos break away, just like you were just saying, Jeff. The Usos break away, and then it's Sami and Solo with KO. Is everybody going to be too disappointed for that one? What do you guys think?
I don't disagree with the idea of the Usos being the one to be fed up with the family bullshit being so undermined. I don't disagree with
family affair, to say the least.
I see your hand, Jay.
He asked Jeff first, so that makes sense.
We always talk over Jay, and we usually make his point without him getting to make it. So go ahead.
Yeah.
Just to fine tune what Mikey just said, though.
Okay.
Since he's seemed to be the one most down with Sammy for the longest time,
right?
What if it's Sammy and Jimmy versus Jay and Solo?
Well,
yes,
the Usos are the tag champions. I imagine they can keep it going.
For now, they've got to defend them at Crown Jewel on Saturday against the Brawling Brutes.
Yep. And then Sammy gets into
I
Jimmy's
still
ear.
say they should at least get them past the New Day's number before they have that breakup. So I don't know where the numbers are at, officially. If somebody wants to do that, well, I'm bullshitting. No. BB says no.
Right.
All right. Well, there's an answer for you.
That's my girlfriend's son in the other room. He's watching us along. For those that don't know, I know Jeff knows, but
I would tell him to take his ass to bed. But at the same time, we are Jay and I are anyway, so I really can't say anything.
But I was saying, you two are in the same time zone. I'm here in the East Coast, and what is sleep? But to go along with what Mikey's saying, it's one of those things where I can see that being again Bridgepoint. Maybe it's not about the titles, but maybe we truly see where the family draws the line. Where does Jimmy stand? Okay, you are good with Sammy, but that's your brother, Oos. That's your tag team partner. You both are the tag champs. Maybe, they try and sell a bit of this internal hostility in this tag match, and maybe nothing's settled. That could be an interesting match set up by Roman Reigns personally. And that could define the future of Jey Uso or Sammy Uso, per se, it seems. I think you're setting up something within the storyline itself, Mikey, but that just goes to show how much we are invested in Sami Zayn and how many different ways you could take bloodline creativity. As far as the tag titles, they still mean jack shit to me.
Will
but
the people
I like this idea.
Will the people say, hell no, not Solo? Will they say, hell no, not Solo?
I feel the reception to Solo is still out there to be fully recognized and understood, because again, he was just brought in because, well, okay, he's the younger Oos. At this point, Solo is still very much unidentified among the entire WWE universe. Even in Toledo, when we saw him face Sheamus, great match, but again, without the bloodline, who is Solo? Meh.
I think Jay hit square on the nose. This all will lead to the definitive moment of the bloodline as far as a 5-man unit in War Games. We will see it happen, whether it's Sammy completely going all in, or if it's Sammy being the one to ultimately decide his own fate by turning on the bloodline and going back with Kevin. I do agree with BB that Jay is the, I almost said JJ because I'm focused on JJ. Jay is the tipping point. One way or the other. He always has been.
Yep.
Because he was the one, he was the
main event Jay.
With.
Jay needs to get it together, man. Jay needs to get Oosie. I don't know what's going on with Jay right now. But
stop saying that word.
The dates, Jeff,
Keep
are
Oosie.
483 for the New Day, and right now the Usos are 467.
So I was gonna say what I'm seeing is 465. The next one for them to pass will be Demolition.
Right, 478, right?
Yeah, 478. That's 13 days away.
Build some straps that don't look like pieces of candy for Halloween. Trick or treat.
New Day's 483.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So they're pretty cool.
So either way, Crown Jewel won't get them past the ball. Okay.
No. But there's prediction. Prediction. Usos aren't losing the titles.
But the question is, do you really want them to pass the New Day?
I do.
I get records. I get records are meant to be broken, but considering how long Demolitions lasted before New Day broke it, I think it's almost better for them to come so close and then lose.
I think the way to do it would be if they do come up short, whether it's at Crown Jewel or a SmackDown. Let's see. So they're at 4 again. Give me the numbers one more time. I'm sorry. 483 for New Day. What is
465?
Okay, so that's okay. So Survivor Series would be too far. Okay,
it's 18 days. 18
days. Thank you. God, the brain's not doing math today. So if they're going to have them come up short in a title defense situation, if it's not at Crown Jewel against the Brutes, dare say if they come up short, it needs to be somehow because of Sammy. And I say that because if Sammy is the faux pas that cost them the title reign record, then even Jimmy will be like, you know what? This is some bullshit. And he'll be the one that starts going back toward Jay and maybe being a little bit put off by Sammy. That's when you start sowing the seeds. And then that way, and then that way, when they step into War Games, there's that thought in the back of your head going, are they going to keep it together? And
well,
then
I mean,
one way or the other, and then one way or the other, if Sammy does fall in line and ensure the victory, then you get a solid bloodline and we think, oh, everything's okay, even though we know it's not. Or Sammy has a moral decision presented to him by Kevin Owens and he goes the way that Kevin wants him to go, then we have a serious effing build toward WrestleMania. Like we said all along with the world title, Rock versus Roman doesn't need the world title. I will even grant you, I don't think the Usos versus KO and Sammy need the tag titles. That's a blood feud, not necessarily a tag title feud.
Yeah.
I don't think
The Rock
needs to beat Roman Reigns.
I'm sorry?
The Rock doesn't need to beat Roman Reigns, so they could just put the title on the line.
No. I don't think The Rock needs to beat Roman either. I think Roman needs to beat The Rock. I think that's I think that's the way to go. But I did point out, and I will stick by this, if The Rock does beat Roman Reigns for whatever reason that is made by creative, think about it this way. I don't know if you've been on the show since I said this, Mikey. If Rock wins that match, if it does happen, he will have beat Hulk Hogan, Stone Cold Steve Austin, John Cena, and Roman Reigns all at WrestleMania. Other than going back in time and DeLorean and beating Bruno Sammartino at a major show at Madison Square Garden, it does not get any goater than that.
And Roman might want to put over The Rock as well.
Because of that reason. Because it's familia, it's us. I would think that's the only reason they would do that. If it's not for the title, then there's no reason to have The Rock have that, you know what? Hell with it. Put it on his resume. He beat
and then at Backlash, Roman could get the victory back even.
Oh God, no! I mean,
it's gonna happen once, JJ.
Yeah.
That's what they said about him and Cena too.
Don't remind me of that shit.
That's
once in a lifetime until the rematch the following year.
This one is really once in a lifetime, JJ.
This really should be. And Jeff just noted The Rock beat 4 generations of the top faces.
And we're not even sure this is happening yet, JJ.
Right.
Hogan Rock at WrestleMania. Icon versus legend.
Once in a lifetime.
And then
No Way Out.
Here.
Okay, hold on.
Put it on No Way Out. What is wrong with them?
Mikey?
Only because it was the same venue as Mania the year prior.
They were trying to pop some sales. Sorry. I digress.
Buy the t-shirt.
Trust. I'm just going to say this. I'm going to say this right now because I know Jeff had a rebuttal. I'm just going to say this one time and then I'm going to shush because all I'm going to say, all I'm going to say is this. Don't trust WWE marketing.
No.
Now, Jeff, go ahead.
Keep it oozy.
Right. I will only agree with them doing the Rock Cena rematch because the way they built that story was, and JJ, you and I know this better than any damn buddy, what a shitty year in kayfabe John had in 2012. Getting the belt back in 2013 was kind of like, oh, thank God they put his shit back together. That's the only reason I agree with that happening more than once. Other than that, 100% right, stupid. Hogan and Rock happening more than once. They went back to Canada and they had the whole thing they were building with Vince. And I get, the Rock, Hollywood Rock and Vince and Sylvain Garnier screwing Hogan, especially in the same night where we got Austin back. We had a great baby face. Oh, cool, Austin's back. Oh, they just took us to Montreal. What a shock. They took us to Montreal. That's why that happened. What was the other one? Rock, Austin. Hell, Rock finally beat Austin in Austin's last match until Kevin Owens. That's you can't take away Rock beating Austin in Austin's last great actual full Stone Cold mode match. At least that's still there. But either way, they're all on the WrestleMania resume. If Roman beats Rock at, Country Redacted, a year from now, then whatever. But
which
it
I
doesn't
doubt
the
the Rock.
title
I don't know if the Rock's going to do it again.
if this is built right, if Sammy is built up so much in the eyes of the bloodline, in the eyes of the tribal chief, that he turns or the Usos turn, you don't need tag belts. You need, you broke the family up. You an asshole. We're going to take you down. That's how you build that. Titles or not.
That's fair. All right. Before we move on to the next topic, we're going to pause real quick for this 30-second message from, Jeff's place of work, because his name's on the marquee, so he's kind of making us do this show for him.
Oh my God.
What do they got for us?
Hold on one second. Let me cut that down real quick, and we'll be right back.
During the last few years, we've ventured into a lot of different fields. I only hope that we never lose sight of one thing. It was all started by a mouse. All started by a mouse. Simple circles. Oh, gosh.
Mickey is a thing we all share. There aren't many of those around.
Wow. It was more of a shill for me doing Renegades reviews on your channel, but if we're going to be that way about it.
I got to give you crap when I can, Meacham. It's not every week we get you on the show.
That's fair. And I will say it was a very good week at work, because when I did my self-sign-in yesterday, I actually got to get a picture with traditional suited boss as a congratulatory new hire handshake. So that was kind of cool.
You guys just screwed me up there. I thought we were about to get into a trailer for a Disney movie. They're putting out good shit.
Well, no, because actually what that is, they're finally, I don't know how long it's actually been in the queue, and forgive me, I don't know all the company knowledge, but that's actually a documentary about Mickey's entire story.
You were saying that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to premiere on Mickey's birthday, because when else should it premiere, damn it, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Disney Plus exclusive, so
I thought I was getting duped.
No. And then Jeff wanted to talk about and review it. I was like, you know what? This coming month, November, you guys saw the trailer. I'm going back to a scaled back month.
Good on you.
It was like, so Tuesday, I don't have a show going up aside from Stat Boy and Talk Wrestling if you're able. Just do it on Tuesday. And then that week, which is the week of Thanksgiving, there will be a video every day of the week, because that Thursday, that is Thanksgiving, starts my reviews of the Santa Clauses.
Yes.
Plus my regular Monday, Wednesday, Friday, plus new release Saturday. So, it'll just be a full-on week of content for me. So that's why we went ahead and we made it like that.
Yeah, I was actually looking at it. I had the graphic made, but I forgot to send it to you, Jay. That week is actually going to be pretty cool. We've got, I put it up on a post, whatever it was, last week when I went and saw Halloween Ends, that, there's been 4 things that have been a constant in my life up until my kind of immersing into the Halloween saga. It was always Disney, the Kings, Christmas, and professional wrestling.
Damn it.
That week, figure on the Tuesday, I'm doing the Mickey review. You're premiering the Santa Claus's reviews on Thursday. The Kings have a game, I think, either in San Jose or whatever, that the next day, Friday, Black Friday. Well, we call it Black Friday now because we in retail know better, and it's an evil day. And then that Sunday, Survivor Series, which is my first pay-per-view. So
there you go.
That's a cool week for me, and I'm definitely looking forward to the Mickey thing. It's well established how much I love the mouse, even before he hired me. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to see how the company does telling his story, because, like I said, this documentary's been in the queue a lot longer than people know.
I'm looking forward to seeing how you do reviewing that story, man, and kind of like breaking it down, because I don't really know much about the story. So that's why when I heard you actually explaining it, I was kind of like, oh, this actually might be a little bit more in depth than us just seeing Mickey in a video game or the front of a cartoon or something like that.
It's going to be his entire history from Walt's creation, and it'll probably go back into the creation of Oswald the Lucky Rabbit, which he sold and then created Mickey. So it'll probably go back into Oswald a little bit too, to kind of move into the whole story of Mickey, because Oswald is part of a huge piece of Mickey.
I mean, they kind of brought that up when they put him in the Mickey Mouse video game.
Yeah. Elizabeth, we do know about that. There was an in memoriam that ran prior to the show regarding Jerry Lee Lewis and, forgive me, Leslie
Gordon.
Yeah. So we
did know. Both Ric Flair and The Rock have referenced Jerry Lee a lot over the years. The woo came from Jerry Lee Lewis, and the Rock had a promo talking about Jerry Lee being in the crowd at SmackDown that whatever it was in Memphis that one year. So that was Jerry Lee's a big. And I talked about Leslie earlier in the week. It sucks, but Leslie especially it was terrible. Anyway,
all right.
There's a lot about the Oswald story that I don't even know if the company will tell in that documentary. There's a lot of shit that went down in that transaction that lost the company Oswald in the first place. So when he was brought back, I'm not gonna go too far into it. He basically came back to the company in a trade because NBC Universal got Al Michaels for football, and the company got Oswald back. And that's really what went down.
There you go.
Seriously.
Bringing things back to professional wrestling. Noah brought this up earlier talking about the women's list. It wasn't originally going to be a topic, but since Noah brought it up, we'll go ahead and we'll discuss it because we know
talked about it.
We know how much Noah loves women's wrestling.
Yeah.
Damn it.
So why don't you go ahead, Noah, and take the lead on this topic?
What does this list include?
So basically, shout out to my ACW crew on the Twitter who shared this with me. As you know, we talked about the men a while back where I gave you like the commentary breakdown to a degree of the top 10 participants. So as always, what I learned about these publications, because I don't read, don't subscribe, don't notarize, but I still hear because you can't prevent hearing anything. Here is your top 10 for the PWI 150 women professional wrestlers, damn it, on the planet. La Buena Loca, Taya Valkyrie, number 10. Impact, AAA, MLW, a champion among all three brands right now, might I add.
Yes.
Starlight Kid, who has had tremendous growth and development since being part of Reylo Tai, even being a part of the second ever showcase of the women from the Tokyo Dome at Wrestle Kingdom. Come on now. Jeff can talk about Charlotte Flair eons longer than me, but we are talking about a woman of pedigree in WWE. That goes all the way back to, the legacy of her freaking family. 13-time women's champion, I believe, if you even include the NXT Women's Championship. Some would say literally the face of the women's division in WWE for the last decade, but I digress.
She's been injured, though. That's why she's probably so low.
Jeff can talk about the window. Didn't you say, Jeff, this window goes from what, June to June each year?
I'm pretty sure both women and men go from July 1st of the previous year to June 30th of the publication year. So figure July 1st, 2021 to June 30th of this year. She has been hurt not hurt. She's been on post-wedding bliss hiatus, but even still, that was only after Backlash.
Exactly.
Okay, so it hasn't been that long.
Figure late April to now. Before that, she was all over television.
Yeah, and she was the freaking champion, including beating Ronda Rousey at WrestleMania.
Yeah, exactly.
Who is this Starlight Kid, though, Noah? Who has she beaten? Why is she number 9?
So Starlight Kid, again, she is a member of the all-women's promotion in Japan called Stardom, who I believe are now in their 11th year. They are an all-women Japanese pro wrestling promotion that focuses on finding spirit with much more of a kicking background discipline to them. And you could go back further into the history of Stardom where you have names you might know, including the likes of Medusa, Viper, Io Shirai, Piper, and of course, Toni Storm, who were former participants and champions in this promotion. Sayaka Matami, who's also part of Stardom, she is part of Queen's Quest. She holds the white belt. It's the secondary belt known as the Wonder of Stardom champion. It's basically their workhorse championship, if I can put it into words for you. And she's had multiple defenses, including being the former champion, Momo Watanabe, looking to beat her successful record of 13 defenses. But just give you some lights on Stardom, Mikey. You can find clips of their matches on YouTube, but it's an all-women's Japanese strong-style professional wrestling promotion.
Sounds like they have some good matchups. I see this next spot is actually an Impact wrestler, though.
Holla if you hear me for Fake Mama Pump. Jordan Grace, the current Impact Knockouts champion, who of course won the first ever Queen of the Mountain Championship match, had a banger match of the year candidate with the undefeated Macho Slavis, no longer undefeated, just at Bound for Glory. Now a 3-time Knockouts champion. She has been a mainstay of Impact Wrestling's Knockouts division.
Oh yeah, this next girl is on top right now, Noah.
Because she's that bitch. And
damn right, Noah.
Yeah, I'll say it till the cows come home. And she is also undefeated as well, and currently the TBS champion, despite the fact Nyla Rose currently holds the title in possession.
Hey,
but yeah,
shit, JJ.
And for all the haters for that bitch, she is better than Charlotte Flair.
Oh!
What? Hold on.
Thank you.
Hot take. Damn.
Well,
no,
look
that's
at where
PWI
she is.
saying
That's all
that,
I'm
not
saying.
JJ.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. PWI with a hot take. I didn't even think about that, but I can understand now why the internet probably went into a blaze of glory over this. Yes. But yeah, Jade Cargill again. She literally
there.
She literally has owned this year. She's continued growing herself in and out of the ring. She's had successful title defenses against the likes of Anna Jay, Ty Conti, Athena, Willow Nightingale. Insert name here. Why isn't Ronda there? Probably she didn't have enough.
She's only had 7 or 8 matches. Do you think I'd be wrong in saying that, Jeff?
Again, BB, you gotta remember, Ronda came back in the Rumble.
Yes,
the Rumble. I will grant her that. But she, like Mikey said, handful of matches at best.
Yep.
She's been trying to do more on SmackDown. I get it, but that's why I was asking Noah, like, why are some of these people, these women, like, who have they wrestled to be on this list alongside Charlotte and who we've seen?
To give you a history of who Starlight Kid, Saya Kamatami, and #1 wrestle this year would make this go another 35 minutes. Your best bet is to go to cage match or go to World of Stardom and read on the history. But I'll tell you this much: Saya Kamatami's already got like 6 successful defenses underneath her belt. Participant in the 5-star Grand Prix, their version of G1 Climax there. And Starlight Kid, she's been a multiple-time tag team champion this year, and has even challenged for the white belt, losing effort.
Noah, would you say Saya with the white belt? You said the workhorse. Would that be akin to the old IWGP Intercontinental?
Exactly.
Okay.
But
so
yeah, Jade Cargill,
here, man.
face of TBS.
Becky Lynch, WWE has the top list here. They have
top
the top
4, and rightfully so. I mean, again, JJ could particularly talk about her program with Bianca Belair, but before that, you think about going all the way back to day 1 this year, where she faced the likes of Liv Morgan. Becky Lynch has basically held down the entire Raw Women's division, the better part of literally since fall last year. So rightfully so.
You figure Becky returned at SummerSlam 2021. And that was her first match back. Prior to that, she had, left the company to have her daughter as champion. She came back the same night at SummerSlam and became champion again. She did not go without being champion as an active wrestler until WrestleMania this year. So figure it's only been the last, as far as grading period, the last 3 months of the grading period that she wasn't a champion.
And even then, she still had great matches followed up with Bianca Belair and that triple threat with Bianca and Asuka. So can't deny that.
If the grading period ends June 30th, she was still in a major program because she didn't get hurt and take time off until SummerSlam, which was July this year. So June 30th, ending grading period, she was the most dominant wrestler in WWE, female-wise, not named Bianca Belair.
Also, I'll point some out after Noah's done.
I mean, the top 3. I mean, again, I kind of told you #1, but I could talk a little bit more about that because that's the worst down. But we'll keep this in order. La Mera Thunder Rose, the #3, of course, AEW. She is the former AEW Women's World Champion. The current one is Toni Storm, not interim, but I already have my rants. You can watch Open Mic Night from last week about that. Of course, defeated Breaker DMD in the steel cage earlier in March this year. She's been a mainstay on AEW television, and she's had some great matches with the likes of Toni Storm, Nyla Rose, and Jamie Hayter. Overall, had a pretty strong win-loss record. So I can understand why she definitely is there in the top 3 spot. Bianca Belair, EST, WWE, one of the best indeed this last year alone, JJ.
Oh yeah.
It's been
I
her
mean,
year.
again, you talked about. I mean, she's pretty much been in a year-long program with Becky Lynch. But no matter what, she's always worked and showed up every night. Pretty much, she is the fastest, the strongest. Some would say the smartest, the brightest, the toughest, the quickest. Insert adjective here that ends in EST. Now, currently the Raw Women's Champion. And then number one, like I said, with 7
Is
successful
this
defenses.
Paige? Is this Paige? They're giving Paige the number one spot here, Soraya.
No,
Paige!
You're crazy, boy. That is Siri representing Stardom as their key champion, the World of Stardom champion with the red belt, beating Utami Hayashida last year at the final match card of 2021 after winning the 5-star Grand Prix, and then building her own faction off of Donna Del Mundo. She literally has had, I believe, 9 successful defenses of this title, and each match has been an instant classic, going over 20 minutes long in endurance, including against the likes of Starlight Kid on this list, among others. She has pushed herself in the boundaries of what it means in women's professional wrestling. This last year alone, former SWA women's champion as well for Stardom. And currently right now, she still is defending this belt. She is the face of Stardom, and Stardom is the prolific all-women Japanese professional wrestling promotion on the planet. So rightfully so.
Well, I have a couple questions about this list.
Go for it.
So, Taya Valkyrie.
Yes, the Royal
guy. She was in NXT for a cup of coffee.
Yes, as Frankie Monet, which went nowhere.
Yes. Right. What has she done? I want to know, first of all, I want to talk about the talent that I really know here. What has Taya Valkyrie done to be number 10, whereas I see in the chat that Liv Morgan is number 17? I would think has she really done that much more than we've seen Liv Morgan do week in and week out? Jeff?
Let me just say, abso-fucking-lutely.
Really?
For a guy that doesn't really follow the other promotions all that much, you got to figure she is champion currently of at least 3 different companies right now.
Okay, I saw
Liv Morgan. As much as I love the story that Liv told this year,
right?
I want to take nothing away from her and her success.
Babyface underdog.
Liv Morgan got the championship via a lucky cash-in, taking the ultimate opportunity as the Money in the Bank briefcase is intended for. Should have lost the following month because she tapped out as Ronda was being counted 3. The referee just couldn't see it.
Bad position.
And then she lost the belt like 2 months later. Like, you cannot tell me that Liv and her championship run, all of which was outside the grading period, mind you.
I was say June 30th was a grading period, but Money in the Bank wasn't until after that. I don't think.
Yeah, I mean during the grading period,
all of that of which was after the grading period. So it may show up great for her in the next run.
Yes,
but not for this run.
Yeah, and
this run she was a glorified jobber for pretty much this past year.
To Becky Lynch, and then WrestleMania, lost out the Royal Rumble.
Even before that, Noah, she was a jobber for sure.
Yeah.
But
Taya Valkyrie.
Taya Valkyrie, WWE misused her in NXT. That may have not happened had Triple H been in control. Let's move it along here. We already went over Charlotte and Jade Cargill. I want to bring
Cardio.
Becky Lynch. I want to point out, you guys, and if anybody wants to retort, Becky Lynch was not playing the character that she would have been more likely to succeed at this past year. Being number 4 and being a character that was kind of irrational for her to play. Like, she came back as a heel when she clearly should have come back as the Becky Lynch man character. You know what I mean? So I want to say that she's number 4. And that may be a reason that Siri is number 1. Also, Bianca Belair, number 2, rightfully so. I mean, her act is really just starting to get stale.
I definitely agree that Bianca is where she needs to be.
Yeah.
With all respect to Becky Lynch, I'm not her biggest fan either, personally, because she's come up in the era when I wasn't really watching.
Oh, I
but
thought
you
you just
figure
didn't like her. I thought you just didn't like her outfits.
No, well, that's just good way to get some heat. But
For being a heel is
she came back as a baby face and was just so over with the crowd, but people were so behind Bianca. You could not have this feud of face versus face. Somebody had to turn heel.
Right.
And Bianca essentially, for all intents and purposes, and I'm going to take this down, I'll even give myself the solo shot here while I say this. Bianca Belair is the female John Cena right now.
It certainly seems like that. I won't argue that.
She is the girl that is over with the kids. She's selling merch. She's the positive role model. She's doing all the media appearances, the NFL stuff. She is the face of the female division. So you do not want to pull the heel trigger with her yet. Not until that well dries up. And it's going to get to the point where the fans are going to turn on her like they did Cena. But as long as she is selling merch, as long as she is selling merch, as long as she is that public face for Triple H's WWE, she won't turn heel.
Right.
Despite the fact that if you look at her Instagram and the Instagram that she has with her husband, Montez Ford, the pictures that they post on there, they could be such the heel power couple if they pulled that trigger. But as long as those dollars are getting thrown WWE's way, she is going to remain babyface. So you had to turn Becky heel.
Got to have a heel versus a face, especially in the WWE ecosystem.
You have to turn Becky heel. That isn't. They literally burnt money just not doing the man gimmick, unless everything with Ric Flair really just screwed them out of using the man gimmick. I mean, I just thought it was really a horrible idea to throw away. And I get what you're saying, JJ. I was there witnessing it, and I agree with you. Yeah, they had. I guess they had to do one thing. You know what I mean? I guess they had to do one thing or another. But anybody got anything to say about Thunder Rosa?
I'm not her biggest fan, but it is what it is with her. You can't.
She's got her contract. You know, she's got her conspirators. She's got her people that are against her, especially for like recent heat. But Thunder Rosa, again, she did what she had to do in AEW, defended the title in Japan at 1.2, and beat Dana DMD for it. What?
Yeah, I'm not Thunder Rosa's.
Right, go ahead, Jay.
Oh, yeah, you asked was in NWA Power or no, not this year, last year. No.
Before, when she came up with
before she was in AEW, she was there, and she was even the champion at one point.
Yeah.
But again, during this training period.
I was just gonna say I'm not Thunder Rosa's biggest fan, but you can't deny that next to Dr. Britt Baker, DMD,
don't forget it.
She is the other true face of their women's division. Jade is crawling up there. Jade is crawling up there, and nobody can argue the success of that bitch.
But they're going to continue arguing it.
But it really comes down to Britt and Thunder Rosa. And I honestly think the only reason Britt wasn't on this list is because championship reigns. Thunder Rosa was more successful this past year.
Was Jade.
Oh, that's a great point, JJ. What in the hell? Britt not in the top 10? I didn't even think about that.
But again, look, she's not a champion. She lost the title. Yes, she won the Owen at Double or Nothing, but her win-loss record's been a bit all over the place.
As much as we fans marked out for the Owen, it really didn't make a big impact in terms of overall picture.
No.
It was what it was.
Good point, Jeff.
So, all right. Let me get the list one more time. I'm sorry, Jay. I just want to see it one more time so I know.
No worries.
All right. So Taya was wasted on WWE and NXT. She's currently a champion everywhere she is right now. She had such momentum going into WWE as the longest, I do believe, reigning Knockouts World Champion of all time. I think she still has that distinction.
I think you're right as far as a single reign goes.
Damn, she's the Impact World Women's Champion too.
She's Impact Knockouts Tag Team Champion right now. Triple A.
She was.
Yeah, she was at one point.
It's now Chelsea and Deanna, but her and Rosemary were champions for a good chunk of time. Again, I don't watch Stardom, unfortunately. I just Friday nights are a mucker further to try to watch wrestling or do anything except be here with the mouse. But I do recognize the greatness of the 3 Stardom athletes, so I'm not even going to try to discount that. And like you said, Osaya is the white belt champion, which is the women's equivalent of the Intercontinental champion. I'm never going to discount the importance of the Intercontinental championship at any company. Charlotte, again, I will sing the praises of Charlotte, much to everybody around me chagrin, it seems like. But for the duration of the grading period, she was the dominant, female that wasn't named Bianca or Becky Lynch, and they were on opposite shows. So there you go.
Was she champion though, Jeff?
Charlotte Flair, yeah, she was SmackDown's
for a good chunk of it, yeah.
So why isn't she higher than if she?
Because
she only missed a month of the grading period.
No. She missed a couple months of the grading period. Number one, but number two, it's just that in the eyes of the people, Pro Wrestling Illustrated, and quite frankly, in my eyes, the people above her had a better overall grading period. You gotta remember, July 1st, 2021 to June 30th, 2022. The 7 women above her, for my money and for PW, I don't even know who the hell's writing PWI anymore. I couldn't tell you. They're not the after mags anymore for sure. But I definitely think that I agree with the top 10. Looking back, and again, I don't give a whole lot of credence to the list itself, but I will give the women on the list their props because they all deserve it. Jordan, again, Jordan kind of kept putting her foot in her mouth, was what it was. But
that's a whole different conversation.
Who did she face this year?
But it's one of those things. You have to take the personal bullshit out of the equation when you're talking about a list like this, especially since it's right. The Muckerfather. And the fact is, she faced quality competition on both sides of the gender spectrum. She's knockouts champion. She was the first ever digital media champion, which means she faces both genders. Only lost the title because Cardona and Brian Myers bullshit. So that is what that is. Jade Cargill, I will be the first to admit that JJ called her long before I did.
Oh my God, damn, Jeff, you take a while to jump on things like the New Day.
Well, okay. Hang on, but okay, if we're gonna go down that rabbit hole, I will say very briefly, the New Day only pissed me the hell off for 2 reasons. One, because him being part of the New Day turned my son against Kofi because of how goofy it was at first. And number 2, that led to him choosing Baron Corbin as his favorite wrestler. I will say that and leave that the fuck right there. Now,
okay.
Jesus. But Jade, again, yes, she's 38, 39, whatever, 40-0, whatever the hell it is. She's still green as grass, and she's getting better, which is why I'm not going to shit on her anymore, nor will I even remotely get to that point. She has been a dominant champion, and they're finally giving her something to sink her teeth into with this Nyla thing. So good on AEW for giving her something to work with. Again, Becky and Bianca, I can't say nothing good about them. I was there in that crowd when Becky Lynch popped the world and surprised every damn buddy in that stadium in Vegas and came back to work. It was moment in time. JD, I've been a part of some moments. It was there when The Rock returned to WrestleMania. I was there when Stone Cold returned off camera in 2003 and freaking damn near blew the roof off the arena redacted in Los Angeles.
I was there too.
You were there too, so there you go,
That's
brother.
Crazy.
It was a moment in time. Becky Lynch returning, whatever else they did with her character in the last year or so, that was a moment. Did they miss the boat? Did they burn money by not keeping her babyface? Maybe, but her feud with Bianca was so good, it carried through to the following damn SummerSlam. Let's not discount that for one freaking minute.
Exactly.
That was a year-long feud that, yes, it wasn't always at the top of the chili pot, but it always simmered the entire 12 months. That is what the old man would call good shit, pal.
Exactly.
Thunder Rosa,
the woman who came over and she came over and Tony put put a belt on her.
Because that's not what this list is about. She's the only one I really have never really gotten behind that I have seen. I like Thunder Rosa. I liked her better as NWA champion. I will say that flat out. And it's not because I like NWA more, because that's, pride or whatever, but it's one of those, I still haven't bought her character in AEW. I can't get with it. And that's maybe because I love Britt so much and I like the people they brought in so much, maybe. But I haven't bought into the Thunder Rosa thing. When she comes back from injury, if the politicking stops and she gets a lot more matches in the next year, maybe I'll get off of that high horse of being an asshole. But for right now, not my bag, baby. Did I miss anybody?
No.
No, I think you pretty much covered, the spectrums. And
Yeah,
again,
I will gladly, me, I will freaking throw on my blue and white shirt and parade the Charlotte Flair name all over Hell's Creation. But
at number 7.
The fact of the matter is, she's number 8, and I feel from July 30th to June 30th, that's about right.
Did you say anything about Bianca Belair?
Yeah.
I'm sorry?
Yeah, he talked about how that and Becky carried the show for a year.
Yeah,
exactly.
Okay. And again, JJ said it best about, you said it best about Bianca. Bianca Belair, whether she's starting to get that Cena stank on her as far as being too much, she has been the backbone of the Raw, I dare say, of the women's division, period.
Mm-hmm.
During the grading period, and especially in this calendar year of 2022 overall, from January 1st to now. So
exactly.
You cannot undersell that. And I think that her being number 2 under Siri, again, the Stardom ladies are just on another level.
And you can't compare Stardom to anybody else in women's wrestling.
And they always have been, which is why I am so bummed I'm so disconnected from it even now. But man, you watch those clips on YouTube, you read those results on Cage Match, they're just on a different level than the girls in North America. And I think that PWI recognizing that and in their own publication going, okay, here's our Dean Malenko 97 hot take. Boom.
Yep. You literally just had Stardom involved on a pay-per-view here on U.S. soil just yesterday. Miley with Tommy defending the SWA title against Kylan King.
Yep.
You also got to think about it this way when it comes to Bianca Belair.
Mm-hmm.
With the exception of that 7 to 8 months between SummerSlam last year and WrestleMania this year, she's been the champion.
Yep.
Because she won the belt at WrestleMania last year.
Yep.
Lost the belt at SummerSlam, got it back at WrestleMania this year, hasn't been defeated yet.
And
so with the exception of those couple months,
yep,
she hasn't been champion. And she won the Women's Rumble both years.
And on top of that, she also, when she's not been champion, she's been directly and occasionally indirectly involved in the championship program. That's your top person.
Yep.
Period. It really, and I know Lila Gray is an amazing talent. I'm not even going to discount her either. But she's not in the top 10 based on the women they have in the top 10. And again, the perception of PWI's list has always been so controversial. And I say that because the top 500, they're the best. So that means they're the only good wrestlers. No, that means they're the top of the list of how many wrestlers on the goddamn planet.
Exactly.
Like, just because you're number 501, in theory, doesn't mean you're a shit wrestler. It just means you weren't better than number 500 this particular year.
Yeah.
Right. If nothing else, this shouldn't affect you. It should only just encourage you. Keep doing what you're doing. What is your limits? Only you decide that.
Cardona's all over the fact that he was 13. He's got that on a goddamn t-shirt. He is over. He's putting that shit over. I'm lucky 13, baby. He's owning that because
Hey, JJ, I'm curious. Where's Mandy Rose on the list?
That's a good question.
I don't know. That was all I got was the top 10.
I will look at. I'm curious.
Where is Killer Kelly?
Okay,
I want to know.
Time out. Don't
know where Killer Kelly is on the list.
She just came back. She has not been a champion. She just got done playing with Tasha Steelz. She has not been involved in Impact Wrestling even for 4 months, my friend. Calm down.
Okay.
Your time will come. Calm down.
But that's a very good question, Noah, because Mandy Rose got that championship at Halloween Havoc last year, so last October. So July August, September.
So
for 3.5
year,
months of the grading period, she was not champion.
There you go.
So for the other 9.5 months, 8.5 months, she has been champion. She's been fighting top caliber talent. She has
Mandy
been
Rose,
winning on a
number
regular.
21. Okay, so
21.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we got you, Jeff.
Okay, so she's number 21. She's under, God, Noah, help me, Haya Shishida?
Oh, Utami,
Haya Shishida?
Yeah, exactly. Utami Hayashishia.
19 is Diana, 18 is Rhonda, 17 is Liv, 16 is AZM, 15 is Mickey, 14 is Masha Slamovich, who's been awesome, 13 is Britt, 12 is Miyu Yamashita, and number 11 is Tasha Steeles.
Is Chris Statlander on the list?
Now, Chris Statler's probably lower, much lower, because again, she has not had a championship, nor has she been involved heavily in championship picture. While she was being pushed, injury happened, so that don't surprise me. I'm just bringing up Eddie Rose because when I think about, again, don't publicize these, but the way you guys talk about these, it more so seems like the top 10 are centered around champions. And for JJ's perspective, Mandy Rose has been champion literally this whole last year, so I was kind of surprised not to see her there.
Mandy Rose has been champion longer than Charlotte Flair was, and Charlotte Flair is number 8. I'm just saying, you wanna get down to brass tacks here.
That's why I brought it up, because I was like, I'm kind of surprised she wasn't there.
And Mandy Rose are not in the same league.
You're right.
No,
Mandy Rose is better.
whoa. Okay, hang on. Okay, I missed enough of that where now I'm curious what the hell he's talking about. Okay. So, well, first of all, Geely and JC, you asked me around your. I don't want to go back off because clearly that's a bad idea as far as me going back off the list.
I was bringing up the point, Jeff, that you guys talk about how the PWI is always controversial. Based on what I've learned from you guys, because again, I don't even buy magazines. Again, I don't know if I don't subsidize,
Right.
When I hear and see this, because my friends share it or you talk about it, it seems the top 10 is usually centered around champions or champions at some point. And why it is not my NXT, I've worked with JJ, and I realized to the point that this last year, Mandy Rose has not only been champion the whole year, she's had more defenses than some of the people in the top 10.
Yeah, Mandy was champion, as you said, for all but 3 months of this actual grading period. So why she's not higher than, again, and for Mandy, Mikey, were you saying that Mandy's not in Charlotte's league?
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
100%. Hang on.
What's going on?
Okay, this is coming from me, who will sit there and freaking woo across the room here just to show how much I love Charlotte Flair. I 100% disagree with that.
Whoa,
Mandy Rose has been unbygod believable as NXT champion.
Mandy Rose kind of came in on Eva Marie's league. Wouldn't you agree?
Oh, okay. Now we're getting okay.
Hold on,
I got the top list right here.
Just to make sure the gimmick's in place.
Wouldn't you agree with that? I got the top list right here. But Mandy Rose came in on Eva Marie's type of level.
No, I don't agree with that at all. And I'll tell you why. Because Mandy came up through Tough Enough, and they put her and Sonya through. Did they fast track her? Possibly, but
I think they fast tracked her a bit.
She was on the main roster, and they had what I felt was a decent thing going with her and Otis, and then the side thing, bringing Dolphin, bringing the hell's Otis's partner's name?
Yeah, they ruined
Tucker.
that.
Thank you, Tucker, and having Sonya involved, and then they just went, okay, just kidding. None of this is happening now.
And now we're gonna put you with a random tag team
with Dana, which was stupid of them to do. But they put her down, if you want to call that down, to NXT, and she has literally taken what could have been a giant helping, Disneyland diner-sized helping of chicken shit, and turned it into ungodly good chicken salad.
Jeff, I am 4 months ago in the NoDQ Predictions League. Noah can vouch for this. I predicted Alba Fire over Mandy Rose to win that title. And what was it? A fatal 4-way match or something like that?
It was. Stand and deliver.
And for some reason, Triple H is back now, and he still hasn't gone with Alba Fire. I guess I'm going to say it. It is my saying. They are burning
No
money.
No,
not
you're wrong.
going with
You're
Alba
wrong.
Fire right now.
Okay. Let me retract. You're not wrong. You have your opinion. You're entitled to it.
Sorry.
But
you're good. You're passionate. I love it.
Over the last year, if you think about both lists, which is the grading period between July 1st and July 30th, June 30th rather, Mandy's been a tremendous wrestler, and she's been consistently good as in her role as a character and in the ring. She is definitely not the Amanda that we saw on Tough Enough by any stretch of the imagination. Her last 7 years, her 7 years as a WWE superstar have been a revelation to me that the system, even through Tough Enough, can still work if you do it the right way. Sonya's another great example of that. Neither of them even won that year. May Sarah rest in peace, but she was never going to be fuck all on the roster. She just wasn't. She just didn't have that mindset, at least that I noticed on television, nor did who the hell won the male thing that year? Exactly.
Was it the guy who got
yeah, exactly.
I don't remember.
Mandy and Sonya both showed me that, yes, they didn't win, but WWE saw the money in them, and they have been white hot. And I use that phrase very, very picky nowadays because white hot got me shit for it by saying somebody was white hot on NoDQ, but I feel like I'm right here. Mandy and Sonya have both been great. Mandy has been
in regard to Eva Marie. You might be right. You are 100% right. No, hold on. You are right because of the fact that Mandy Rose has proven to be a success. She has proven to not be fired. She's been champion for a whole year. But damn it, why did they not put the strap on Alba Fire?
Okay, well, first off, let me talk about that because I know more about NXT UK and the actual name, Kaylee Ray from ICW.
Why have they not pulled the trigger?
Here's the thing, Mikey. This isn't the UK. This is the WWE. They are now recreating her as Alba Fire. And I even said it with JJ as we had live commentary on Halloween Havoc. I should have known better in the WWE environment. They were not going to take this women's championship match seriously when they did the freaking House of Horror cinematic spectacle. They aren't ready to put the strap on Alba Fire because she is not recognized enough by the WWE Universe here in the United States of America. That's the reason why. And that's also the reason why she was involved in the decision as Stand Deliver. She was the most realistic fall person in that multi-person affair as far as us recognizing her here, because there was a potential in Mandy Rose versus Cora Jade. There was a potential in Io Shirai versus Mandy Rose, both of which they did visit in some way beyond that show. Alba Fire can definitely be champion, but again, bringing it all full circle, just like the repackaged now Rockstar Simone, it's all about character delivery, presentation, engagement, and actual belief value. Clearly, the NXT universe even does not think Alba Fire is yet to be their champion. And I'll say it with JJ and I'll say it with Jeff here, and it's not my NXT. Mandy Rose.
Sounds like you're back.
What Vince McMahon was trying to recreate as a diva into half diva, half wrestler, and it personified with her being year-long as champion. I will say it, and this is the only good thing I'll ever say about anything called NXT 2.0. Mandy Rose became the face of it and became something out of it.
JJ, go ahead.
Really quickly.
I got something.
Really quickly. I've been looking. That's why I haven't been paying much attention to the screen. I've been looking at the list while you guys have been conversating about it because of the question regarding Gigi and JC. They were 48 and 49 respectively.
That makes sense.
That makes sense because they've been the entire package. Toxic Attraction, the ones you wanted to be the actual WWE Women's Tag Team Champions, former NXT Women's Tag Team Champions. Those belts matter or not, I don't know. That's a whole different conversation from our day. They are part of the actual main package of the, pun intended, hottest thing in this era of NXT this last year.
Yeah, Paige hasn't wrestled in like 5 years.
Yeah, Saraya's not going to be on that list.
So she's not going to be on the list.
It's no longer Paige, it's Saraya. Now, Jeff, I believe you had something to say based on my retort.
So, I forgot what the hell I was going to say. Just give me a second to get it back. Yeah, but as far as Saraya, yeah, she hasn't actually had a wrestling match in over 5 years. That's what this list is, essentially, is the people in the ring. Yeah. Which is why Brock Lesnar was on the list this year.
Which will explain why Tony Storm is number 25.
And again, Tony, remember,
and
Tony,
Sasha's 26.
You remember Tony had a lot. Okay, hang on. Tony had a lot of time off between WWE release and AEW debut. Sasha had a fucking match since like WrestleMania season, so there is that.
Yeah,
or Mercedes, whatever the hell you want to call her today. But as far as Alba Fire, there it is. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Alba Fire, unfortunately for her, unfortunately for Kaylee Ray, Alba Fire is too sports entertainment-y. That's the problem. Alba Fire, the character, is too sports entertainment-y for the NXT audience to embrace. The 2.0 audience on that shit like flies on shit, for real. But because they're starting to kind of not regress, but evolve back into that hybrid of Noah's NXT and NXT 2.0, and like you said, Triple H, once he sees something and once Sean sees something working, they hesitate like crazy to pull a plug on something. John Cena, Roman Reigns. How long did we bitch about Roman not turning heel? And how big was the pop when that camera went about 5 feet this way and showed Paul Heyman? Holy Christ, the crowd popped for that. And it was literally a simple camera turn to show Paul Heyman next to Roman Reigns. People went all over that. Mandy is a perfect person, a perfect face of a hybrid NXT.
Exactly.
She is a great sports entertainment character, but much like the person so many people compare her to, her skills have developed enough where she is not, I won't say she's at the in-ring level technically of Charlotte or Trish Stratus.
Right.
But she's getting there, and the fact that she's got so many comparisons to Trish, who is my GOAT forever and ever, even over Charlotte, she's the perfect hybrid of a WWE superstar wrestler versus that diva throwback. We don't say the D word anymore, but it is what it is. She's that candidate. Now, she made it a year. They're going to have a year-long celebration on Tuesday night at Halloween Havoc. Where does it go from here? This Tuesday after Halloween Havoc. Excuse me.
Botch.
I'm tired of the one. I haven't been on it in a month. Leave me alone.
I guess it goes. What'd you call it? What's it called? Deadlocked. Noah. What's it? I thought you said NXT Deadlock.
Deadline. We learned that it's NXT Deadline.
Deadline.
I am not a fan of that name, but it's literally a name right now. We'll see how they build. Where they go with her going into Deadline and then into WrestleMania season, that will really determine her ultimate place in history. But the fact that she was up on main roster, hell, for all of us fat boys in the room, gave us a story of a lifetime, man. She fell in love with Otis, man. I was like, yeah, the fat guy's finally get one.
No, that was awesome. They blew that shit, kind of. Because I guess it was pandemic.
It was.
It really was, because you figure they had their big moment where he finally got the girl, but it was at WrestleMania in front of two people, the commentators. That was it.
I would love that.
Very much the Drew McIntyre thing. If that happens at a stadium, that shit doesn't get pulled. It just doesn't. But rather than have everybody involved completely get derailed, granted, Dolph did, but Dolph, I think Nick made his own choices there. He's happy what he's doing right now. Let me be clear.
Dolph is the workhorse, just the simple workhorse filler guy in storyline in that company. He's fine in position, it seems.
Yeah, and based on his comedy shows and everything, I think Dolph is doing just fine with what he wants to do. Sonya got a great character after having to sit out with that whole stalker shit. Otis, my God, I was so mad at the way they did Otis. I'm wrong. My bad. 100%.
I think they did the best they could.
But you know what? That could have very easily been, he could have been released right along with Tucker. And instead you know what? Let's do this. And my God, are him and Chad working so well. Everybody involved in that love story ultimately worked out for the best in spite of the story itself being plugged. And Mandy's the best example of that. They could have completely tank after the Dana thing fell apart.
Subtraction.
Okay, bye. Yep. And they didn't, because they believed in her, and they believed in her enough to, okay, you know what? Let's send you to NXT and see what happens there. And Jesus, JJ's NXT got a fresh dose of toxic attraction because of it. And God bless those three women.
Absolutely. Holy hell.
JJ and I were the only ones vouching.
And
that's why I brought it up. That's why I brought it up. Respect
to
to
admit it.
JJ's group.
I'm not ashamed to admit it. It took me a little bit to get behind them.
Yep.
Much like it took me a little bit to get behind and start acknowledging Roman Reigns.
Yep.
When I first turned it on and I saw Roman in the Bloodline and I saw Mandy in Toxic Attraction, I'm like, next.
Right. Yep.
But as the time went on, as I started to hear the crowd reaction, as I started to see the people respond to it, I was like, okay, something is happening here. You know, it just like the old Buffalo Springfield song, you know, there's something happening here. And I just got sucked into it to the point where I am Team Toxic Attraction. I am an honorary Oos. You know, Victorville, California, acknowledge me.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the same thing that I saw, except I saw it from day one with Jade.
Yep.
Her reign work, I will give you, is not the best. It's got a lot left to be desired.
Right.
Jade from NXT.
But Jade Cargill.
Jade Cargill, AEW.
Cargill, AEW TBS champion.
But the minute I saw her cut her promo and her confidence and everything, I was like, this chick is going to be something special.
And she is.
She needs to refine her skills. She needs to hone her skills, but she has got everything else that it takes to be next level superstar status.
She's got the power. She's got the physique. She just doesn't have the technical background yet to really show you what she can do for the long haul.
Exactly.
Efficiently in the ring, even if she is training with Bryan Danielson.
If she gets that reign work down, and again, I'm going to put myself on single here. I'm going to repeat this shit. She will be John Cena. You laugh. She is going to be on that level.
Yeah.
If she can get her abilities in the ring down, she is going to be that John Cena level superstar for AEW. She just has to get the in-ring ability honed.
Yep.
She has got every other box checked.
Yep.
Fair enough.
To be that next level superstar that Tony Khan desperately needs right now.
Yes.
Besides MJF.
And I think that's why this guy right here hasn't pulled the plug.
Track right there.
I think that's why this guy right here hasn't pulled the plug on her yet and had her job the title. Because he realizes that she's got every box checked.
Yep.
And if she can get the ring work down, it's why she's been working with Bryan fucking Danielson.
Well, again, before Chris Statlander got injured, Chris Statlander was going to be the one to take the towel off her because, again, I told you what I thought. I told you what I thought was going to take for somebody to take that towel off Jade Cargill. Somebody with his equal connection, if not more, and somebody that can actually beat her, surpass her, or at least match her in her greatest strength, the power game. Chris Statlander, to me, checked those boxes, and after redefining her character, I was like, she's ready. She's ready to be champion. But injury hit.
Right.
Damn it.
But no, at first they were gonna line up Chris Statlander to be beaten by Jade Cargill, and then Athena was gonna take the title. But somewhere along the lines it got swapped where Athena was gonna be the one to lose first, and then Chris Statlander. So at first they were gonna. I'm just saying that's what I seen at first in the storylines. Like it didn't seem like they were going at Chris at first.
Right. Plans change and stories change over time, but the way I see it, you want to build somebody organically from in your company. Chris Statlander was their strongest, pun intended, front runner to be at least a champion nowadays in the life of this company. Jamie Hayter, she's my close second.
Once Athena came back and didn't connect as well because they gave her some bullshit wings, she turns around and it's like, why does she have some big ass metal wings on her back?
She's a fallen goddess.
She's a fallen goddess.
I'm just saying, like
looking like Bartleby and Loki from Dogma and shit.
He's got all these great talented people, and then he brings Andrade out to no music, and he brings Athena out to some rant. Like, what is the point of her carrying out some wings that probably weigh like 70 pounds every time? Like, Like, make it make sense. Like, Tony Khan has a lot to work with. He has to make it make sense.
Well, again, only time will tell. But before we go too far off on the rails, the bottom line is this. Mandy Rose, respect. Respect women's wrestling. And at the end of the day, Europeans matter, ladies and gentlemen, viewers galore, wrestling fans worldwide. But at the end of the day, a wrestler's own interpretation is what matters the most. Don't let anybody else or any publication define how you feel you should be in the industry.
Exactly.
Make yourself number one.
Exactly.
JJ, you mentioned how long it took you to get on board with the Bloodline. You were on site. You didn't stay for the show because you didn't have a ticket for that show, but you were there when I had the moment with Roman, because it was at SmackDown Tribute to the Troops. I had been at SummerSlam. I heard the crowd of 50,000 people, acknowledge him in Vegas. And I was like, okay, he's facing Cena. I get it. I'm in the little arena. How many people fit in the Toyota Arena? Not as many, 50,000.
No.
And I heard that crowd swell like it was a stadium. And I looked at my brother. I went, all right, I get it. He's the guy. I'm in. I freaking put my finger up that day. I haven't taken the son bitch down since. Like, I get it. You got it about Jade from the beginning. I will sit there and gladly give I get it about Jade, because other than the in-ring skill set, everything else, like you said, is checked off, man. And if she does, I'm not going to go so far as the Cena claim, which is why I'm glad you put yourself on single screen, because I'm not quite there in my brain yet.
Me neither.
But
just saying, mark my words.
Oh, I will.
Timestamp this video, snippet it out. If she ends up not being, you can throw it back in my face down the road.
Well, no, I wasn't going for a throw in your face, but what I was going to say was, I will say that she definitely has the potential to supersede Britt Baker, Thunder Rosa, all those people as the face of the women's division in the company. And I think that I also agree with what Noah and Mikey were talking about. Had Chris not got hurt, we may not even be having that discussion.
Exactly.
Because I think Chris or Athena would have been the one to defeat her, but because circumstances dictated what they did, I think Tony's going, you know what? Let's see where this goes organically. Because whether we all want to remember this or not, Tony Khan, at his basic non-hair frizzed out, having too many drinks at the podium moment, is a fan.
Exactly.
And the fans, all of us recognize what's going on a lot of times before the Tonys, the Vinces, the Scott D'Amores of the world.
Yep.
Jade has that something. And she always has. It just took me a minute. If she's working with Bryan Danielson, Jesus Christ, it's only a matter of when at this point.
Yep.
And if you look, ever since Bryan got into the company, her matches have gotten better and better with each week.
Yep. And that's the thing. If you're a talent and you're acknowledging you need the work and you are working and you're doing what the work is supposed to do, which is getting better on a show by show basis. What did I say when we started the show 6 hours ago? You work hard, fairly, and you'll earn the goddamn respect.
I got the elephant in the room.
Okay.
Jade Cargill got kind of played. She got kind of played on Rampage. On Dynamite, she said, I'm going to hold the show up.
That's right.
I'm going to put my chair. She acted like she was going to do the whole Stone Cold, hold the show up, put a chair in the middle of the ring type of deal. They did not start the show off with Jade Cargill. It's like, come on, Tony Khan, you got something here, man. You got a big, you have a prodigy in Jade Cargill. Put the show around her. Jeff, they kind of played her by putting her in an interview mid-show.
Or maybe they didn't, because she could have cut that interview and then she can come out Wednesday and be like, you know what? Fuck this. I said I was going to hold the show up and Tony played me. He played me on Friday. So you know what? I'm going to take the main show over.
Yeah, let's see what happens on Wednesday night. Let's see if that opens up Wednesday. I'm just saying, Mikey.
Whether it happens or not.
That's not going to happen.
You know, the show that's actually on TBS.
Yeah, you know. And yeah, I still say the titles are being defended on the wrong shows in the weekly, but that's just my
Thank you, Jeff.
Well, at least Wardlow defended his title on Rampage this week.
Yeah, I'm about to say they finally got the TNT title on TNT. What a freaking idea!
Matt Taven.
Hey, do not start on Taven again. I will come through this your ass again.
No.
Let's move on from here.
That's exactly what JJ making a topic next week.
Let's move on from here. We're going to start winding things down. We're going to get away from the in-ring action a little bit. We're going to talk about a couple things that occurred outside the ring.
Oh boy, here we go.
What do we got?
This is what I'm always blind to, so go for it.
Amos, you lucky bastard.
The reason why the leader of the Brutes was not there on SmackDown.
Yes.
The reason why Drew McIntyre wasn't there on SmackDown. You can see him as his best man.
Yes, yes.
Congratulations to Sheamus and his bride.
Yes.
Is that Miro?
Miro was there. Yeah, they were both there. Yeah.
Yeah, they are friends too. I've seen that on video.
Again, it's like MJF endorsing Sami Zayn. There really aren't enemies or rivals in the industry. Everybody just wants the entire industry to grow and everyone to just do great.
Mm-hmm.
Which is how it should be.
Yeah, damn right, it should be that.
And
so
was,
congratulations, fella. All the best. Enjoy
Walter?
happiness.
Yeah, excuse me. It was Gunther that put him out, or it wasn't Reigns, right?
It was the bloodline.
It was the bloodline, but not Roman.
Then let's run it back one time. Sheamus and Roman Reigns. Let's run it back for the old 5:15. I beat you in 5 minutes and 15 seconds thing.
Well, I like a long-term thread there. Very good, Monkey. I will say this: there's a lot to do between Crown Jewel and Survivor Series, but at the end of the day, it's a 3-week build. They gotta get something going if they're going to get us to Survivor Series. If they're gonna put the Wardlow, God, I need a fucking nap. If the bloodline in War Games, then they have to start building it. And we've talked about Drew being in there. We've talked about KO being in there. We need 3 more people: Sheamus, Madcap, Pete Dunne. No, not Madcap. Sheamus. Who the hell's the third guy?
Rey Mysterio.
Ridge Holland.
Fuck me. Yeah, damn. Ridge, Dunn, or Butch, Sheamus, and then you've got Drew and Kevin. You know, that could be the way they round it out. That's the way you get those 5 guys in there.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean,
what's the December pay-per-view?
There is no December. There's an NXT deadline.
So I think Sheamus and Roman Reigns has Royal Rumble written all over it, because I wanted to point out Roman Reigns, he's going to put that in The Rock's face that he beat Logan Paul. He's going to be like, I beat one of your little Hollywood friends.
Right.
But we need something for the Rumble. Why not Sheamus and Reigns? They have a lot of faith in Sheamus right now after that whole Gunther feud. He gets the crowd hype.
Roman face Sheamus in a definitive match in this big long 700 thing reign he's had? I don't think he has. As far as a long
story. No, he hasn't. I don't think Sheamus and Roman have faced each other once.
So there you go.
Or is that a bad Royal Rumble main event?
No.
I love that.
No, that's a good Rumble main event, but you got to think, like in Rumbles past, you usually have that match against the guy that you know will never win,
like Sheamus,
like Hardcore Holly.
Exactly.
Well, Sheamus has been
Sheamus has been world champion.
Well, we already know The Rock.
So there is the chance that he could win. But what if Walter loses the Intercontinental title to Rey Mysterio, and then we have him versus Roman Reigns?
No spoilers if you read the recycling results. No spoilers. I don't want to hear that.
JJ, it's one of those things. It's one of those things, though, JJ. Again, we talk about storytelling. In WWE storytelling, 9 out of 10 times you need heel versus face. Walter is not face. Imperium has done nothing to feud or even get on the bad side of the bloodline. So it's one of those things where it's like suspension disbelief. Okay, most dominant force versus the most dominant force. Challenge of the families. I could see that, but it'd be a weird angle to try and set up impromptu with just Rey Mysterio winning the IC title.
Well, but
it would be a weird angle to try to set up, but you've also got 3 months to do it. You've got all November, you got all December, and you got most of January
we're
until you get to the Rumble.
True.
You figure if you get the Brutes into the War Games match along with Drew and KO, then you've got, figure you're building toward War Games, like JJ said. That's all of November beyond the 5th. That's all of December. And January, I think January 24th or whatever is the Rumble.
Right.
Or the one of the last Saturdays in January. That's a long, again, God forbid, JJ, we all talk about this long-term storytelling. 3 months is a long time in WWE today. So
if WWE can actually pull it off, it's been a while since we've seen it.
But it's the Triple H era. Triple H is a fan of long-term storytelling.
And you also agree with that the Rumble Challenge usually the guy that as far as the WWE Championship, the World Championship, has been a complete opposite of that back in its day.
Yeah, but I mean, you think about Brock Lesnar versus Hardcore Holly. You think about Kurt Angle versus Chris Benoit prior to Benoit becoming world champion.
Right.
Granted,
Although
Benoit did become world champion and very easily could have and should have beaten him that night. But a lot of people still think that he wasn't ready at that.
I don't think that one falls under it.
Maybe
The Rock.
But you knew Angle wasn't going to lose going into Mania.
Right, because of the match we had with Brock Lesnar.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, the writing was on the wall and the money was already on the table for that one, so that wasn't going to be a thing. But goddamn, they didn't have a good match anyway, as we all talked.
Exactly.
But Sheamus, even though he's been world champion and nobody's going to beat Roman, hey, you know what? Just because the general thought is he won't beat him, they've got to get Roman there somehow.
Exactly.
So Roman throws it in, The Rock's face that, he beat one of, as you said, beat one of your Hollywood dudes. Then whether he beats Sheamus or not, as Roman is still sitting there, peacocking after that win, The Rock doesn't need to win the Rumble to get up in Roman's shit. He can be at the Rumble going, so you beat our Hollywood guy. Congratulations. Right. He's a freaking skinny blonde little shit that has a lucky punch. I'm fucking Dwayne Johnson. Beat me now.
Rock bottom.
Beat me if you can, survive if I let you.
Right? It's one of those, when you really think about it, guys, The Rock endorsing Roman still didn't get Roman the reaction that the old man wanted. It took how many more years before that camera thing I mentioned earlier?
Exactly.
Over 6 years.
In that situation, it would be better for Gunther, JJ's choice, though, than Sheamus, for Gunther to take the WWE and the Universal title, I think.
Well, I don't know about taking the title, but I think a program with Gunther would be awesome.
I agree.
Well, hang on. I think a match with Gunther versus Roman would be good. Program long-term, again, that's a lot to try to, even over a long period of time. It's like we're both dominant. The fans jeer you. The fans jeer you. The fans acknowledge your awesomeness. They acknowledge our, like, what the fuck are we even doing fighting?
It's kind of.
But but a one-off, just be like, okay, so you big and bad. I'm still gonna whoop your ass and prove my, I'm the GOAT. That's different. But a long-term program, I don't think works. Sheamus, especially since the Bloodline took out the Brutes or took out Sheamus, that has a potential to be maybe not a Mania storyline, but definitely a Royal Rumble storyline.
But again, you gotta fill out time between WrestleMania and the Royal Rumble. So I mean, think about the beginning of this year.
Which is why I still think, and I think I mentioned this in the last part of my 5 minutes before the Mask Mafia killed me last week. I think the Chamber being there is still pivotal because the Rumble winner has his path, has her path. They're going to Mania, they're going to SoFi, they're doing whatever. The champion
no path this year, Jeff.
What happened?
There's no path this year, though. If The Rock's just going to take the spot against Roman Reigns,
that's where I was going. If The Rock doesn't win the Rumble, but he still wants Roman has to, at some point, lose the championship. Or there's two things. Either Roman has to lose the championship, or Rock has to get Roman so worked up that he goes, no, I don't, I'm Roman Reigns. I'm dictating the thing here. I'm not going to face a Rumble winner. There's that scenario, or he goes into the Chamber and loses it in the Chamber. That's why the Chamber pay-per-view, especially in Montreal, where it's notorious for having screwy shit go down, the Chamber show is going to be more pivotal, I think, this year than it's been in a long time. Because if The Rock is the end game at WrestleMania, then the road to WrestleMania is going to be more pivotal than it's been in a very, very long time.
Think about this as a scenario. Roman Reigns and Question Mark are the last two people. Everyone else has been eliminated.
Right.
Rocky's music hits. Question Mark hits their move on Roman. 1, 2, 3.
Yes.
You just set up Rocky Roman, and you got the straps off him.
And then the Rumble winner has a path.
Clear path to whoever just took the belts.
Maybe I'm thinking a little too old school WWE here, but I think that they would have the Chamber possibly be for the U.S. title, and then Roman. And once they lock in The Rock for WrestleMania, they potentially have the winner of the Royal Rumble face Roman Reigns and the Chamber in the main event in Montreal in a singles match. But then they do the Chamber with the newly solidified U.S. title once they have The Rock locked in. Am I thinking like two really early WWE right there?
You
are. And here's another thing to think about. The winner of the Royal Rumble could challenge Roman for the titles on night 1. Then The Rock could face him on night 2.
Okay, that's good. I didn't think of that.
I like that scenario, Jay. My only minor beef with that is then you don't get somebody else potential to have a main event on night 1. Because you know Roman's in the main event night 2, whether he's facing The Rock or not, especially if he's the champion. Number 1. Number 2, Mikey, I don't know if you're thinking too old school WWE, because I do like the idea of Roman dropping the belt at Chamber, whether it's in the Chamber or not.
Well, I was saying he was going to win, Jeff. Real old school WWE.
Well, okay, him again.
Stomping Cody out.
So here's where my brain gets all twisted and fucked up. I still maintain, despite arguments a lot to the contrary, that the WWE champion, the undisputed championship, whatever the hell Vince wants to call it this week, or Triple H call it. There's another botch. No, thank you very much. I don't think the title needs to be involved in that feud. It's so much more about the family. It's so much more about the Anawahi legacy.
Exactly.
And again, if scenario plays out like I talked about, and Rock does win and become the ultimate WrestleMania GOAT by beating all of the previous faces of the company in the WrestleMania era, which would be the case if he beat Roman Reigns, then Rock's the champion. And much like happened at Royal Rumble, 10 years ago, I still, other than John getting the title back, which was fine by me personally, I don't think that was the right decision to take it off Punk. I don't think it's the right decision to take it off of Roman and put it onto The Rock.
I agree.
I don't think The Rock in 2023, WWE doesn't need him to be the world champion.
I don't think The Rock wants to be champion personally. Again, for this feels like literally it's just a matter of family. It's a matter of endorsement. Someone's going to make history. The fact that we got the Elimination Chamber actually in a realm that matters, both in storytelling and location, literally tells me that, yeah, that's the perfect opportunity to have a changing of the guard for the championships. Because at the end of the day, Raw still does not have that forefront runner, top star, top key title, which still makes Raw feel empty channel surfing 3-hour click through. So right now, what they need to do between Survivor Series and Royal Rumble is set up an avenue where you do figure out some way to have somebody in the Elimination Chamber maybe have those titles taken off of Roman Reigns, because the Elimination Chamber puts in 5 opportunities to do that. And we've seen how that has been used in the past before and taken advantage of. Even when people outside the chamber have caused people. Freaking Shawn Michaels caused Undertaker the World Heavyweight Championship in the chamber. He wasn't even a participant. And he wanted his rematch, and he got his rematch out of that back on the road to WrestleMania 26. So
Evolution in 3.
Exactly. The bottom line, Roman and Rock doesn't need titles. That's all we agree on. It's just a matter of if they still want to approach Roman versus Rock, how do you take the titles off Roman? The Elimination Chamber has to be that opportunity.
JJ, I'm going to go back to your scenario about Roman dropping the title in the chamber or not. This last year, 2022, has been a year of 15-year milestones for me. It's 20-year milestones for me personally, as far as on the channel and in podcasting. Where was No Way Out in 2003? Montreal.
That would be Montreal, yeah.
Where is it? No Way Out in 2023?
Montreal.
Who is the final winner of No Way Out 03?
That would be The Rock.
Okay. Carry on.
Rock screws Roman. Even if he doesn't show up and the music hits, you just hear the pop. And we're in Canada, by the way.
You smell, and then
that
Roman
pop would blow the roof off the place. And I cannot wait to call that live. I mean, again,
Ditto.
Yeah, JJ, seriously. Again, we're thinking about 2023, the full-on first year of Triple H solely driven creativity. Possibilities are endless.
Absolutely.
But The Rock versus Roman at WrestleMania seems the most realistic thing to happen. But I see it without the championships. And somehow Roman will be the one that gets instigated by The Rock to make the match happen, I feel like.
Guys, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but with Black Adam being so successful, I mean, I don't know if The Rock really, I mean, it's family and all that, but is The Rock really going to come back to the WWE to take the 1, 2, 3 fall from Roman Reigns? Didn't Black Adam make like 140 million opening weekend? Like, really? This Roman Reigns, I'm sorry, Roman Reigns is a big star, you guys, but Roman Reigns is not going to have a movie that does $1 billion. It's not going to make $1 billion. JJ, I mean, I don't know. You're the movie guy, JJ.
I'm going to summarize this really simply, and then we're going to move on to the next thing. What you got to remember above anything else is Rocky has never, I'm going to go Jericho here, ever had a problem giving back to the WWE.
That's a fact.
And you want to talk about long-term storytelling, Rocky was the first to acknowledge Roman, raising his arm in the air there before the crowd even got behind him.
Booed his ass out of the building, too, in Philly.
Yep.
Rocky will job to him to continue that acknowledgement.
And as far as the movie thing goes, okay, JJ, real quick here, I'm gonna spoil a little bit of Monday. Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! If you've not seen this movie, back off. Halloween was #1 movie for how many weeks this year, this month, and they still killed the fucker off. Okay, so if Michael Myers can die, The Rock can job to WrestleMania.
Well,
have a good night, Elizabeth. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Elizabeth.
The Rock's movie made about 3 times.
I know, but I'm just saying.
The Rock's movie also wasn't released to streaming the exact same day it dropped in theaters.
That's a very good point also. And a lot of people stayed home and watched it on Peacock because Kills was so divisive.
But just to take this thing to wrestling before we move on to the topic, one more thing, Mikey. Rock, this literally could be, for all we know, Rock's last match. Another thing we got to consider is in-ring work. He has not been involved in a wrestling match in a long, long time. We all know he still claims and bans like there's no tomorrow. Jesus Christ. But again, one match. Just one match. All he's got to do is sell Roman Reigns. One match, if that is the case.
There is no greater thrill for a wrestler who's been involved and has had family ties as long as Dwayne Johnson as to go out the way you're supposed to go out. On your back, looking up at the lights.
And you also got to keep in mind and think about this, you know, again, I know we said that was going to be the end of it. We're going to move on. But you talk about the legacy and putting over the next generation and the family ties. The odds are still really strong that in Hollywood, California, Rocky is going to go into the Hall of Fame.
Yep.
Possibly to even be inducted by his fucking daughter, who's now in the company.
Yep.
You want to talk about legacy, giving back to the company that made him, putting over the next generation all in one weekend. Ta-da!
I can think of a really good personality who was also regarded as the greatest of all time that happened to go in the Hall of Fame the same week and then went out on his back the next night. Granted, he unretired about 4 or 5 times. I'm not even going to go down that fucking rabbit hole. But yeah, Nate did it. If Nate went out WWE wise on his back after a beautiful weekend, so can The Rock.
Guys, The Rock is, I'm sorry, but The Rock is worth, dude, the Nature Boy never had a movie make over $100 million opening weekend.
Doesn't have to.
Talking about a
I
bigger
will
scale
give you
here.
that, but what does The Rock have to prove in the
No,
20
it's
by
not,
20?
It's not about what he has to prove. I'm just saying, guys, it seems very unlikely that The Rock is going to come back and do this. It's
Okay.
It's
so
a big deal.
Okay. If we're going to make the argument about the movie thing, then we'll go ahead and make the argument. I'm sorry, Jade. I know we said the end thing about 400 hours ago, but it is what it is. The Rock, other than mentions in promo by both Cena and Punk during their respective programs, The Rock has never made his return storylines about the fact that he made a movie that did so much box office last week, and that's why he's back to put that. He never, ever has come back to promote a movie or to, wax proxy or brag about his movie. That's not what the WWE is about to Dwayne. WWE is about his family legacy, and that's what the match with Roman will be, win or lose. So my goddamn point, shut the hell up. If your argument is he can't lose because the movie made $100 million, then that is a invalid argument as it pertains to the WWE storylines, because it will not be part of the storyline.
Jeff, he never has had movies as successful as they are right now in the past when he returned.
Somebody that can look up stats on a computer, because I can't on my phone.
What was the year when he made his return?
What movies came out for Dwayne in 2010, 2011, 2012, and 2013? So let me help me out with that.
He's gotten much bigger since then.
I understand that. I'm going to address your argument logically and rationally with figures in front of me. So I'm just curious.
No worries. Give me 1 second here.
I would do it if I had my computer with me, but I wouldn't plan on being here at all tonight. I wasn't supposed to be here by the shirt.
Okay.
All right. What years did you say again?
2010 through 2013.
Okay. 2010. Tooth Fairy, The Other Guys, Faster, 2011, Fast 5, 2012, Journey 2, 2013, Snitch, G.I. Joe Retaliation, Pain and Gain, Fast 6, Empire State, 2014, Hercules, 2015, Furious 7, San Andreas.
That's about when it starts to change right there at Hercules.
Okay,
but Fast 6, yes.
Hercules did not do near enough, and that was after the period I mentioned.
No.
Hercules was a failure, but that's when it started to change.
The only one in the period that JJ mentioned that was at the box office was G.I. Joe, because it didn't do as well as projected. But every single other thing JJ said, granted, it didn't make $100 million friggin' dollars like Black Adam has. Black Adam also has the power of DC and Warner behind it. I will grant that. But even still, Tooth Fairy and Tooth Fairy's a Disney thing, and I'm not gonna pump the company's ass too much, but it did better than.
So that's where we're gonna start. Tooth Fairy, right? That's when he made his return in 2010.
Okay. He officially made his return in 2011, going into WrestleMania. So we had Faster. I will gladly acknowledge that none of those movies have made the movie that made the money that Black Adam has, but he was just starting his involvement in the Fast series, which I don't care what anybody fucking says. Dwayne getting involved in the Fast series rejuvenated, I dare say, saved that franchise after Paul's death. Number one.
Okay, so Fast 5, 2011, and then he also did The Journey to the Mysterious Island. Both big movies right there. Snitch, back to his regular gridiron gang style movies. Very great movie. I love Snitch. G.I. Joe, like you said, a failure. Pain and Gain remains the same. Now, Fast and the Furious is where they take it up to the next state. But then, or the next stage, Empire State comes on after that, which is it's a low budget movie where he's not in much of it.
But it did well despite projections and a low budget.
But Hercules, Furious 7.
He was too far ahead, so go ahead. I'm talking when he returned. JJ, what was it?
This is when he started to get big. This is when he started to get big. This is why he can't come back to the WWE.
No, my argument was you're talking about he won't come back to wrestling because Black Adam did so well. What I'm trying to point out is when he did make his big return after 7 years and Cena was up his ass about stuff was between 2011 and I'll say even the summer of 2013, just to get that little grace period. Those 2.5 to 3 years that he was involved in stories directly, he was still at the box office, still making decent, if not better than decent money, and not one time did he himself or the creative writers behind Raw or SmackDown ever have him bring up the fact that his movies were doing well or they were doing shitty. It was only, as I recall, Cena mentioning a couple times that I'm coming back and I'm never going away, and I did
Jeff,
anyway.
That's the answer.
Which he did do, but that's Cena mentioning the fact that Rock was gone, not the fact that his movie did so well. It was the fact that he was back in storylines. He just wasn't on TV every week. The Rock himself and the creative writers behind it have never been like, all right, well, since Journey made so much money last week, we'll go ahead and let Dwayne have the week off. It was never about that.
Well, Jeff, that's the point. After Fast 5 and Fast 6, one of those movies, I think Fast 6 grossed over $1 billion. At that point, I mean, Furious 7, San Andreas, you know what I mean? At Mona, The Fate of the Furious, they're paying this man $20+ million to do Baywatch.
I know.
Jumanji, Rampage. He's making movies at that point. Before then, he wasn't making movies that made $1 billion. Now he's looking to make movies that make $1 billion. I don't think he can come back to face Roman Reigns based on that. He's too busy making projects that make $1 billion.
Okay. So the way I interpreted your argument was invalid, so I apologize. Okay. In that case,
I like what you had to say, man. It was some good debate and shit.
Well, no, as far as scheduling goes, yes, that's definitely a factor, as is the elephant in the room being the insurance. However, like Noah said, as he reads his book and stays out of this damn argument, and God bless him for doing it. Okay. One match.
Don't smile, Noah. We see you down there.
I'm listening. I'm just reading.
One match doing, yes, a little more in-ring training, because there's a difference between being in shape and in-ring shape. We all know that. We've all heard the stories. But Dwayne having to get into in-ring shape will not be like the two of us having to get in ring shape after never having done it before. Dwayne's always at God mode when it comes to being in shape. So it won't take you very long to get the ring rust off. And if it's one match, if anybody will protect him from not making those $20 million paydays and the $1 billion box offices, it will be his cousin. So if
they might make $250 in a day, they might make $250 million in a day or something like that. Maybe The Rock will take production in it, and it will make some big money. I know that The Rock's movies, he's trying to make $1 billion. That's why he's doing things like Rampage and Jumanji and Jungle Cruise. Jungle Cruise, the worst of the bunch, I think.
Well, I liked it personally, but I'm biased for more than just this.
I personally enjoyed it too, and it did well enough that it's getting a sequel.
There you go.
There's that.
Nice. How about that steak in that? That shit was like that thick.
If the reason to keep him out of the ring in the fans' eyes is because his schedule doesn't dictate it, or it's because his insurance, the insurance thing is a gigantic dinosaur-sized elephant in the room, and I can't even dispute that. Scheduling wise, you mentioned yourself, he's making $20 million just showing up to the production meeting and going, okay, I'm Dwayne Johnson, give me my $20 million.
That now, I'm sure
he can very well go, you know what, I'm gonna take January through March off. Are we good? We're good. Okay, I run the company. Okay, cool, very good. Carry on, y'all. I'll see y'all in April. I'll see you April 5th. He can do that because he can now. So if it's a matter of him getting the scheduling works, he runs his own production company now. That ain't a thing. And at the end of the day, he's going to be busy in February versus April anyway because he's running the XFL now, him and Danny. So he's busy anyway. So if it's a matter of scheduling, not going to be an issue. The only thing that could possibly derail him being in SoFi Stadium on April 1st or April 2nd is the insurance behind the movie production companies that is not $7.
Okay.
Back now.
now that diatribe is over, Noah, how you doing tonight?
How you doing, brother? You okay?
Just reading about John Dean Ambrose's run with the Shield in the WWE.
It's okay, yo. You can come back and play now. I promise. I'm good now.
I thought that was that Keanu Reeves movie. Obviously he's not reading about a Keanu Reeves movie. It looks
he's reading Mox's biography.
John Wick.
Yeah, no. What was the Keanu Reeves one where he was like fighting demons and stuff? He was wearing the suit
Constantine.
Like that. Yeah, it looks like Constantine on the front of the book.
DC movie.
All right, moving on. Since we're on the topic of movies,
yes.
Oh, we're staying.
SmackDown announcers Michael Cole and Wade Barrett made reference to the fact that the New Day was at the premiere for Wakanda Forever, but they left out the other people that were there also.
Oh shit!
Yes.
Where was that smile on Jey Uso's face on Friday night? Can we just address that elephant in the room? Holy shit!
Yeah.
Jimmy's there too. I seen Big E.
That is Jimmy with.
Oh yeah, Jimmy. That's right.
That's what's up.
Big E. I mean, look at how good Big E looking. I mean, it is good to see him out and about, having a good time with his New Day brethren.
I think Kofi's wearing a death row chain.
Good night, everybody.
That's it.
What the hell is Mercedes not wearing in the middle of Hollywood? You got to figure this is a Disney production, so this is outside the El Capitan, Hollywood Boulevard, and she ain't wearing that. She is in the wrong part of Hollywood to be wearing that little clothing.
Are you sure about
that out there?
Wow.
Are you sure about that, JJ? I mean,
They're
you see the red carpet and people have the fuck, what's the word?
No, it's stop. That's it.
Transparent. There it is. Transparent. Whole one-piece dress ensemble. I'm like, okay, well, you do what you want to do. I mean,
wow.
What do I know about fashion? I know less about fashion than I know about movies, and I haven't watched movies in over a decade. Anyway, continue.
Okay, I had to cover that from what I was about to say. JJ, you're not wrong.
Just throwing it out there.
Again, it's a Marvel Studios thing, not a Walt Disney Pictures thing. That's probably why they had that gray area of premiere attire. But the elephant in the room is very much the fact that Mercedes and Trinity were with the New Day, and they weren't even mentioned, even though they're supposed to be in.
Or was Jimmy?
Right. Yeah. If Jimmy was there, again, Jimmy's there supporting Naomi. Jimmy's there supporting Trinity being there. But my whole thing is, are they in the movie? Because I don't think any of them are. If they are, then I'm wrong. I only think maybe it happened because maybe Mercedes is part of our family. God, listen to me. Part of the Disney family. Jesus Christ, I'm turning into a shield before my very eyes. Is part of the Disney now through Lucasfilm. So maybe there's a little bit of cross-breeding promotion there. I don't know. But yeah, for my way, did I even mention the fact that they were there and purposely not show stills or video from the premiere because they're in that shot?
Yeah, finishes up eventually.
That's not right.
Uh-oh.
That's not right.
Yeah.
Okay, there we go. Now I can put my shit down.
I mean, they're just. I mean, again, they've been doing their own thing since leaving WWE when it came to their stance on the women's tag team championship.
According to internal memos, they're back in good. They're back in nice with them again. So what the hell's the point of keeping them off people's mouths?
I mean, I don't know.
JJ makes a great point. If they're indeed making nice with the company and they're part of the company that went to the premiere, which again includes the New Day, who is still very much in WWE's good graces, so much so that they're getting, more TV time than they have in a long time right now. Put that shit over. Hey, 6 for WWE Superstars were at the premiere. People love the Marvel movies. People love the company when they make movies, whether it's Lucasfilm or Marvel or whatever. If I'm WWE, granted WWE's in partnership with Universal because of NBC, maybe that's why. But then why even mention it at all? Either like JJ and I said about the freaking pandemic with Governor Newsom, either go all the way or don't.
I don't know. I figured it was just friends that were just going to go watch a movie.
Which is, again, agreed. But if you're going to have your number one announcer, Michael Cole, mentioned on television, don't avoid don't avoid people being mentioned.
Oh, okay. I didn't hear that part because I was reading it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
When the New Day came out and had their match on SmackDown, they mentioned how they were at the premiere for Black Panther: Wakanda Forever this week. How good it was to see Big E out and about, which I totally echo that sentiment.
Oh yeah,
we miss that guy so much. Everybody in the industry wishes Big E the best. I do mean everybody.
But then you look at the other three people that are there with the New Day, one of whom was on SmackDown this past week.
Right.
Did not get mentioned.
Nope.
You know, they even could have danced around it and been like, you know, Jimmy was also there with his wife
and friends,
and just left it at that. You didn't even have to say the names if you didn't want to, but still reference and allude to.
Yeah, that's bad. That's bad in my part. That's bad PR. And you talk about, you know, rumor has it, internal. It's not like we've heard an official statement from WWE, but you still should, I believe, show some respect towards Naomi and Sasha Banks, whether or not they go by the real names or not, whether or not they're doing their own things, whether or not they're even with the WWE, actually remains to be seen. But yeah, if you're not gonna, you know, bring the respect to everybody in that photo, why even bring it up at all?
Yeah, that was just my thing on that one. You know,
you're right.
You're right. That's what I'm saying. I agree with you. That's a subtle statement.
I was going to say, it's not a huge talking point. It's not something you have to spend a whole lot of time on, but it was interesting to me. And I was going to bring it up anyway when I first saw the picture, because it was nice to see the group of them out like that. But then to hear the commentary on SmackDown, it was like, this kind of turned more story-wise than I had intended the topic to be, by the fact that they didn't acknowledge the bloodline that was in the picture.
Well, I mean, again, I don't have Fox. I only see YouTube clips, so I had no idea.
I will say that regardless of them mentioning Jimmy or the ladies, I do know that the company's definitely looking for this to, if not compete with Black Adam, because you gotta remember, Black Adam was a long-term labor of love for Dwayne himself, let alone DC and Warner or whatever.
Everything that I'm hearing regarding Black Adam, and I haven't watched it yet, I'm hoping to watch it this week. But everything I'm hearing about Black Adam is considering, there's a lot of talk considering this to be the new revitalization of the DCEU going forward.
Well, when you figure that Dwayne put that post out and Henry Cavill's in it, they're going to bring Superman into this.
I was trying to get to that without referencing that, because I believe that's the post-credit scene that Dwayne told people, make sure you don't leave for.
Spoiler alert!
Oh, whoa. And I just want to point out that if Mercedes, Sasha Banks, and Naomi are with the New Day at this event, this the Wakanda
the premiere,
the sequel premiere, like, this movie is going to be huge. If they're at this event and they're not saying that they're with the WWE, then that's just a loss on the WWE. You know what I mean? That's a loss on them, because they should have these people out there, these wrestlers out there as their spokesperson at these huge events. Because when I'm talking about billion-dollar movies, this is one of them right here, Noah. So for Sasha to actually be there and talking about how she's with the WWE, that would just be big, for publications and shit.
Yeah. WWE hasn't made any press releases yet, but we've been hearing for a while that they are back on their internal roster.
Yeah.
So at the very least, that they should be announcing these guys as doing goodwill publicity for them, even if they're not on the television just yet.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
And again, I don't know who attended the Black Adam premiere, because I didn't see anything about that, but The Rock being The Rock, they didn't mention that on WWE TV at all.
Exactly.
So, the fact that they went out of their way to mention New Day being there, but not mention the other three that were there, that seems almost like another petty shot. And if I'm Mercedes and Trinity, I'm going, you know what? Fuck this. Deal with it.
They didn't mention Black Adam on any WWE television.
Not that I'm aware of. No.
Because The Rock went so hard promoting Black Adam all over his social media. He went so hard.
Dwayne has been involved in the project for over a decade. It has been in developmental hell. You talk about development hell on some movies that, JJ being the movie guy knows what that term means. This movie has been in purgatory for over a decade.
But
it's out. It's fucking amazing. So
Superman versus Black Adam is going to be epic.
Yes, and especially since Henry Cavill is back wearing the cape. I'm not a fan of Superman in general, but I am sold on that man as the last son of Krypton.
Yeah,
he was good in Batman versus Superman.
I was going to say, it took that one for me to really get with it, because Man of Steel kind of was what it was. It's a long, and again, if you're going to reboot the story, you have to have a little exposition, but that's a long goddamn movie.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it, unfortunately.
Check it out. I do recommend it. We'll close this segment out with this. Being that I was never a Superman guy, I did do my research when I covered it in DC last year. And Jeff is a Supes guy. For the longest time was a fan of the Boy Scout as opposed to the Dark Knight. Yeah. I converted him to the dark side, though.
Well, both, but yeah.
But originally, Superman the movie and Superman 2 were supposed to be one movie. Yep. Man of Steel is essentially what would have happened if those two had been one movie. So it's long.
Oh, shit.
There are some spots where it's dry, but it is literally the best of those two movies into a script in modern era with Henry Cavill instead of Christopher Reeve.
Because you figure 1 and 2 tell the origin story, and then 2 is basically 1 tells the origin story. 2 is basically the battle with Zod, which 2013 essentially does both. So yeah, it's like I said, it's long. There are a lot of dry points, but if you are a fan and if you want to get into the DCEU proper, that's your jump off point.
And
Exactly.
Henry was in Justice League, the 4-hour one.
Yep.
Yeah,
He's
that's when I was epically sold on it. Anyway.
Yeah. Henry's been this era's Superman, whereas Batman's changed roles about, I think, 5 times now.
Yeah. And it took the intro to Justice League to really sell me on Henry. Right. When they did that little snippets in the beginning and they were interviewing the kids talking about Superman and the kids were interviewing Superman, that's what really sold me on him as Clark Kent Superman. The way he responded to the children. Yeah, that's what roped me into it. Moving on.
Yes.
As we're done with the wrestling stuff now, we're getting ready to get into the plugs and everything, but I do just have to, one little historical tidbit. On this date in 1994.
Oh no!
All I Want for Christmas Is You was released by Mariah Carey. So, ladies and gentlemen, you better enjoy Halloween while it lasts, because she's defrosting. That song that no one can escape is about to start getting played on a regular.
Along with Wham! Last Christmas.
Just enjoy these last couple days of the spooky season while you can.
Yep, I've been watching a lot of horror movies. I was in Virginia Beach this week, and they had all types of horror movies playing. The Chucky series,
good shit,
all different types of shit, man.
Mikey T, is there anything you'd like to plug as we start to wrap up here this evening?
Guys, I appreciate y'all for tapping in with me. Everybody watching, go subscribe to my YouTube channel, Report Card Radio. You'll catch me back here on Open Mic Night any given Saturday.
There we go.
Short to the point.
Jeff.
So, but before I go into my plugs, what is the release date of that one song that Christian won't let me say during December by that one group?
You're talking about Last Christmas by Wham?
Yeah, that one.
Let me look that up.
One of our shows falls on Whamageddon Day. I am not going to be on the air. I am not dealing with that shit. I am not dealing with the fallout. I refuse.
December 3rd.
Oh, it's a Saturday. Fuck me.
You're screwed.
Damn it.
But you digress.
Anyway.
I kid you not. Every year, the station that plays the Christmas tracks over and over again. It's
one of those two.
You know, it literally, the first song I freaking hear, it seems, every year is Wham! Last Christmas. What the fuck?
This is why I have found the Main Street USA Christmas loop and just keep that shit going.
Tra la 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 la.
Exactly. Oh, that's reason number 2. If you know, you know. If you don't, you'll hear the story at Drinkers Society. Anyway.
I picked up a classic, guys. I picked up a classic. Hold on, JJ. Hold on 1 second. I got this. You're gonna appreciate this. But I got a classic.
If you're gonna cue up music, don't get us dinged on copyright.
Oh no. This is a Warzone classic.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
All right. So I was in Virginia Beach. So I'm sorry to cut off your plugs, Jeff.
No, please.
I kind of cut mine short, man. I gotta do something more interesting for the open mic night fans as far as the plugs.
Please, by all means, absolutely.
But the Virginia Beach Library, they had it was this library inside of an old bank. They had vaults inside of it and shit.
Great stuff, absolutely.
So then they had a free section, and my girl noticed these DVDs. We're checking out the music. I'm like, we got a CD player, but we're checking out the DVDs.
Right.
So we got this DVD right here, which I'm not too familiar with this series, the Star Trek series, Star Trek 3D.
Into Darkness 3D.
Oh, okay. So that's the second one of the new timeline. That's good. That's good.
Yep.
Good
So I
stuff.
got this shit for free, and then this other one right here, I had to take it. This is one of my favorite movies from Tom Cruise.
Oh,
right here. It's one of my favorite movies that I really haven't seen the whole thing in full.
You recognize that?
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Channel Surf Flip.
Oblivion.
Oh, that's a good one.
Oblivion.
I like it.
JJ, free.
Good shit, bro.
Free.
That's the best kind of movie.
Shit. Yeah.
And
After
now
that price.
Now to what Jeff is gonna love. Again, free.
Free?
Ah, Snoopy. There you go.
Happy anniversary, Charlie Brown.
That's awesome.
Nice.
My girl's like, what is that? I'm like, yo, you're crazy if you don't know the old Charlie Brown, Snoopy music. You play that shit during Christmas time.
Okay, well, hang on. If it's music
I
we're
was
talking,
gonna say Linus and Lucy is not a Christmas song.
thank you, JJ. Yes.
Hey. You play this shit during the holidays.
Original pieces.
Now,
you put the movie on. You see that little kid dragging his rug. It's some classic shit.
Okay.
Okay.
Before I go into my plugs, Christmas time is here. It's obviously a Christmas song. Obviously.
Is that on here?
But the Charlie Brown theme, the doom doo doom doo doo doom doom, is not damn Christmas song.
I agree.
If you ain't playing that during Thanksgiving, you got to get your shit right.
Thanksgiving I will give you, because Thanksgiving doesn't really have its own songs.
It really doesn't.
I wonder what's on here.
But Christmas, and the fact that Coast, the other Christmas channels play that shit, no, terrible. All right, plugs. Here we go.
Man,
okay, put that plug.
You have queued up, so forgive me if you don't have the stuff queued up. If you do, cool.
Plug.
Oh shit, Christmas time is here.
There you go. So obviously the premium live events are coming up here. The next 6 out of 7 weeks. Hang on. 1, 2, 3, 4. The next 5 out of the 6 weeks coming up.
Yes.
We'll have coverage from the Jeff Meacham Network, because next week is we don't have to redact anymore because Noah's going to be there and WWE's saying the actual word. The show from Saudi Arabia, Crown Jewel, coming up on the 5th. We're going to have these two guys. God damn it. These two guys coming up for Crown Jewel. The following Saturday will be in a hot time, baby, with me and Noah on the call. There is hot times. The following Saturday will be AW Full Gear with definitely Noah, possibly James on commentary. I still don't know my work schedule for that, so I may be there for pay-per-view or open mic night. And the end of the month is War Games. War Games! The Survivor Series, of course. That'll be in, I believe, that'll be November 26th coming up at 7 o'clock Eastern with our pre-show. Open mic night, of course, that Saturday. And then December 10th is a double feature, freaking Rocky Horror style. First with ROH Final Battle, which I believe, Noah, was I right earlier? This is the first pay-per-view they're presenting under the Tony Khan era?
Death Before Dishonor was the last one. I believe it wasn't full pen and paper then, so I think you are.
Okay, I mean, they had Supercard of Honor, which was technically under the leadership.
Yeah, that was WrestleMania weekend. Then the Jet did Jet Before Dishonor last month, I believe.
July.
Okay, so there you go.
Like July 25th.
Oh, that's right. It was July. Thank you.
And then later that night, of course, will be NXT Deadline, which
whatever that means.
Yes. Curious name, but the other two Saturdays, which will be the other Saturday, which will be December 3rd, will be, of course, the day I fail at Wednesday, much to Christian's chagrin, but we will have open mic night that night as well. So every Saturday, either post pay-per-view premium live event or at 8 o'clock Pacific, 11 o'clock Eastern on a non-pay-per-view day, you will see open mic night on the Jeff Meacham Network, Multiverse of Media. Talk wrestling if I'm home Tuesday nights, which I am for a while. Dad's this coming Monday is the culmination, if you will, of JJ's 31 days of classic horror, and we're ending on Halloween the way you should end on Halloween, with Halloween Ends. The difference is
forward to that.
Time, there you go. Since the relaunch of Renegades Reviews back during the Dwayne Johnson month, he will have a co-host. Little old me. So the dads will be reviewing Halloween Ends.
Is that live or is that pre-recorded?
Canned.
It is canned already in the, JJ has that in the queue. I'm assuming it's going to go up if it hasn't already gone up. I haven't been on YouTube today. But yeah, so today he actually is on Halloween itself, the 2018 movie. Tomorrow's review will be Halloween Kills, which will go live as we're at the complete opposite of Halloween, which is the happiest place on earth. And then, of course, Monday we will have Halloween Ends, which will be, if you've seen the movie or you're not, it better be the damned end. We'll Jay and I talk about more of that on Monday, but check out his reviews all month. This month he's been covering, let me try to remember here at what time it is at night. He started with Freddy Krueger, then he went on to the happy-go-lucky Addams Family, then he went into Scream, and went into the not as happy-go-lucky, but still very Disney Hocus Pocus pair. And then he finishes off with Halloween, which has been, I think he's on number 485 by the time we get to Monday for Michael Myers stories. So there is that.
Lord.
God bless Michael. He'll never die, as Jamie Lloyd said in part 5, which was 30 years ago. That'll be that. And then next month he's got Sandra Bullock month, plus the pay-per-views, plus my review of the Mickey documentary, plus his review weekly of the Santa Clauses series. We will never not be busy ever again. We're going to be working every day, whether I'm on the clock at the mouse or not. So there you go.
All right. Well, thank you, Jeff, for taking most of my plugs away.
Hey.
For those of you that didn't tune in this past week, you can go back on the queue and check out me and Jeff doing our top 10 horror movie sequels.
Yes.
Make sure you check out tomorrow, in addition to Halloween Kills, the War Zone, the weekly acquisition report.
What's your haul this week, brother?
Another batch of Dollar Tree DVDs.
Nice.
Stat Boy Sports Bar, of course, Tuesdays. Make sure you check out our friends at NoDQ for their Raw recap, Dynamite recap, SmackDown recaps, as well as the NoDQ reviews on Thursdays. You never know who's going to pop in over there and join the panel with Aaron Rift and Virtue. We've got the November to Remember coming up. Jeff and I doing our top 10 November to Remember matches, which ended up being my top 10 and a couple that Jeff wanted to throw in there because I pretty much hit every mark he was going to do so eloquently.
That's accurate.
The week of Thanksgiving, we're going to be doing the top 10 charity singles to kick the week off.
Yep.
Can we get an example of a charity single?
Yes.
We Are the World.
So specifically designed to raise funds for a charity.
Band-Aids, Do They Know It's Christmas?
Huh.
Etc.
Interesting genre.
Yes. Yeah. There's more of them out there than you may think of. Just a few of them there in the graphic.
Gotcha.
I made sure this was a collaborative list that Jeff and I did. It was more me driven because I'm more the music guy. I put together the 10 that I wanted to acknowledge, Bloodline style. And then I grabbed a few extra graphics in addition to, because Jeff didn't know what I had or where they were going to be. I just sent him all the images that I pulled so that I could kind of throw him off the scent a little bit. And he made that oh so awesome graphic there. So there's some images there that are pretty dominant that aren't even on the list.
Yep. Exactly.
Yes, and then there's others that are on the list that are kind of a little bit more hidden there. So just the way it came out was kind of cool there.
That's pretty neat.
JJ, can I talk to you about Halloween real quick since you're in the middle of your reviews?
Let me finish my plugs.
Okay.
And then yes, we can get back to that. As Jeff touched on, the Santa Clauses premiering Thanksgiving Day. While you're at that, make sure that you look Santa Meacham while you can.
Yes.
His time is very, very limited this year as he's got the House of Mouse to deal with as well, but he is available for in-home appearances, virtual visits, anything that you may need for your kiddos, especially if they start acting up and you need Santa to be like, hey, mother effer, if you don't knock this S off, I ain't coming to your house.
I'll bring you.
And then in addition, of course, to the pay-per-views, PLEs, and other open mic nights, make sure you guys tune in on December 23rd for our Christmas special of open mic nights.
Christmas Eve.
You want to see Mike T drinking some eggnog?
That's going to be a fun one. There is actually going to be no wrestling talk that day. Just going to be us.
What,
it is gonna be us, like families do, shooting the shit, talking our traditions with Christmas, favorite movies and songs and all that type of stuff. The stuff we love to do at the holidays.
That's right.
You know, I like that a lot because I do feel like there has to be at least one day of the year where you truly are disconnected from all things wrestling. This would be special to say the least.
Exactly. And you figure, everyone's got the holidays on their mind. We don't want to do it on Christmas Eve, which would actually be Saturday. So this idea was proposed to do it on Friday instead. It's going to be an hour and a half to 2 hours. There's not going to be this 3+ hour runtime. We're keeping it condensed.
You say that.
I am putting the hammer down. On this one.
90 minutes. Damn it.
Do not trifle with JJ and my Christmas EVs. Hell no.
About to say, I respect that. Good man.
I'm putting the hammer down on that one. I didn't expect us to go this long tonight with it being a not really busy week, and we went longer than we normally do.
Thank you, Diatribes on movie revenues. Mikey T and Jeff Meacham.
And then in addition to our Christmas special, make sure you guys tune in on New Year's Eve.
I will be tapping in popping bottles.
I will be drinking Mountain Dew out of a champagne glass.
Really?
As we count down to 2023, we're going to have some highlight clips that James is snipping up together.
Oh, he's got a lot
of air. They may be 2+ minutes because you got to get the whole context of the conversation, but we're going to have a bunch of greatest hits clips that we're going to drop in on this one.
Shout out.
This one may be the longest show that we do. We may actually go to midnight West Coast time, but we're definitely going to begin early enough so that we hit the East Coast countdown. So much good stuff.
Damn it.
Coming up here on the Casa channel, on the Multiverse of Media.
So much looking forward to that. I am, JJ. I haven't even told you this yet. I don't know what my status is going to be as far as whether I'm working that night or not. I don't know how late we're going to stay open because in past years, we've gone through the countdown.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you will.
So if I am on the clock, I will not be there until after even the West Coast midnight hits.
Yes.
Because I know where you stay and it won't cost me nothing to bring it out to you, I am ordering 2 little bit of the bubblies. One for your place, one for my place. So that way when we hit midnight, boop.
Nice.
You welcome in right and in style. I'm straight edge, but I respect it.
We did a little bit of bubbly to kick off year 3 of the Jeff Meacham Network. So I figure we should have, since we're going to be on New Year's Eve and we're not having a day 1 broadcast, next WWE decided the discussion about $100 not to do that damn show. We'll do it New Year's Eve this year instead.
There we go.
Once midnight hits, it's the anniversary of the network.
Exactly.
Nice.
So there's a lot of stuff coming up here.
So much good shit, pals.
Yeah.
What was it you wanted to ask me about, Mike? About Halloween, Mikey T?
So now you've reviewed all the Halloweens up to Halloween Kills.
Today was the 2018 Halloween. Kills will be tomorrow, and Ends will be on Monday.
Okay, so first I wanted to ask you, what was better to you, H2O or Resurrection?
H2O, 100%.
Okay, all right, and so you got to both of the Rob Zombie ones.
Yep.
How do you feel the Rob Zombie ones compared to the 2018?
Okay. Yeah. I have not been the nicest of people when it comes to the Rob Zombie ones. And that's putting it politely.
Right.
And that's putting it politely. However, dot.
Yeah.
I feel like the story told in the newest trilogy was very slow paced. Whereas Zombies, I will give him credit in the storytelling. He got to the point and the beats moved.
Yep.
Part 2, which I have been notoriously critical of, I learned new information about this year, so I was able to watch it with different eyes.
Yep.
And I appreciate it on a level that I didn't originally appreciate it. So, begrudgingly, if I had to pick between Rob's 2 and the new 3, I would pick Rob's 2.
Wow.
Because at the end of the day, as me and you discussed on Ends,
yes,
Kills could have been flushed down the toilet.
Oh, good Lord, yes.
And the first 15 minutes could have been tacked on to the end of 2018. The last 15 minutes could have been tacked on to the beginning of Ends. And the other hour and 15 minutes had very little action, storyline, anything that drove it.
Yep. So Zombies are better than H2O as well, right?
No.
I still will stick with H2O because it's the first one of the Halloween saga I saw in theaters. It's sentimental.
The only reason I'm going to give it above it, Jeff, is because of the way I really just like the way that the Mike Myers were acting more than the Halloween H2O one. Then in H2O, the knife scenes were literally like.
So
in the new one, he's like really getting into it and like beating people, stomping people.
That's because originally Michael was one of those killers that you didn't have to see the blood, guts, and gore of.
And
you could see the knife go up. You could cut to the victim's reaction. You could cut to Michael's hand coming down, and that was all you needed.
Very Hitchcock-esque in that respect.
Nowadays, it's all about the bone-crunching, blood, guts, gore, gutting the victims like a tauntaun. And hashtag that's not my Michael.
Right.
Damn it.
Damn it.
But I digress.
What was the worst one?
I will say this. Also, Mikey, if you are on the fence about H2O and you feel like JJ and I do about Resurrection, which is just hot garbage. Spoiler alert if you haven't seen Resurrection after Laurie dies.
That's the best. That's the only good scene.
Which is why I think the rest of it's completely useless. I will say this, though. If you are into the H2O timeline, there is a great fan film that we have put over enormously. JJ reviewed it on during his 31 Days of Classic Horror.
I also linked it in my review.
Yeah, called The Haddonfield Nightmare.
Yep, I'm going to go check that out.
Definitely check it out. It's still on YouTube for free. I have a hard copy as JJ because we believe in it that much. There is a sequel to that coming out and going into production called The Last Nightmare that actually was announced on the 19th, the day
Halloween 2
came out, and the day that JJ reviewed the original Halloween 2. So definitely check it out. It's in our trailer packages on most of our shows, not tonight's because tonight was already long enough as it was. But it's definitely worth a look at the trailer. It actually goes up on Indiegogo for funding on Halloween Monday morning. So definitely check out those movies. Also, there's a little short fan film called You Can't Kill the Boogeyman that our buddies at Dark Crown actually produced out in Haddonfield, out in Pasadena here in California. They're having a sequel come out soon-ish too. So if you're not a fan of the way the timelines deviated on full, theatrical screens, there are options to make your Halloween souls all better, because Resurrection was garbage. JJ, I can't tell you how it warms my heart that you've not come around on the zombie movies, because they still are what they are, but at least you have a better appreciation for them. Can't wait till Scout and Danielle. I'm not going to lie.
I pulled that out of you, man.
It's going to make it a freaking day, especially Scout, because Scout's always been, even herself about her role, her legacy in the Halloween saga. I'll make her day.
But Jamie Lee Curtis, she kind of capped. She was capping a little bit when she was saying that she was coming back to do 3 Halloween movies, because Halloween Kills really didn't involve her all that much. And then what they did in Halloween Ends, I mean, I'm going to let everybody see JJ's review of it on the 31st. I'm really eager to see what the two of you got to say about it as well. Sure. But it really didn't make it about Laurie Strode as much. You know what I mean? That was my only issue. And that's why I feel like you're choosing the zombie movies as well, JJ.
I will say this. This is a little bit of a spoiler, if you will, for Jeff and I's review. I won't go too in depth about it, but I'm just going to say this. We did mention that, and we discussed how this new trilogy very much echoed the original trilogy. How the 78 Halloween and the 2018 Halloween basically were exposition, setting everything up. 81 H2 and Kills, both the main character, Laurie Strode, was laid up in the hospital, had very little to do about it until the final action scenes. And then H3, Season of the Witch and Ends, had very little to do with Laurie or even Michael until the final act in Ends, really.
Yeah.
Which Michael had more to do in this one than he did in H3, because all he is a meta moment cameo on the television. But the whole trilogy basically echoed those first 3 films.
Yeah. Wow. If you've not seen Ends yet out there, by the way, the parallels between that Season of the Witch are right away. So, yeah.
And it's free on the Peacock, so go watch it.
Yeah, so we'll probably talk more about that on the next open mic.
Well, and JJ, I will correct. I don't even work for fucking NBC. I'm gonna say it anyway. It's not free. You have to have that premium level, like we WWE fans do. But
well, you know what I mean.
I know. I'm just throwing it out there.
Just so everyone else understands.
So before I throw it over to Noah to take us out of here, as he do, I'm gonna leave everybody with this.
Here we go.
Even a man who is pure in heart and says his prayers by night may become a wolf when the wolfbane blooms and the autumn moon is bright. Noah, take us away, good sir.
Okay. Well, this has been a lot of fun. I hope everybody definitely had a good treat and maybe, learn some tricks of the trade when it comes to discussing revenue. That being said, folks, you want to know more about me, know this. I am just a simple man and a lifelong fan of truly, as I saw reading my book, professional wrestling. Damn it! But I digress. My man Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube, and Foster 1916 for all veins of wrestling. Shout out, of course, to my entire ATW family on Twitter. Will we at some point do an ATW video impromptu discussing the last month of all veins wrestling? Maybe on Cindy G's Twitch channel, maybe on my Zoom, maybe live on my YouTube. Who knows? Gotta get with the family again, too. Stay tuned for my continued coverage of all things All Elite Wrestling on Steve Fall Loves Wrestling right here on YouTube. And more soon predicting panels regarding WWE, AEW, and Impact Wrestling as well. And again, there's so much freaking wrestling coming up in November. I am so excited, especially also the NJPW Stardom Historic Crossover. Keiji Muto, or Great Muto, excuse me, botch. Well, technically, one and the same person. It'll be his last JPW match. They crown the first ever IWGP Women's Champion. You got Stardom and NJPW mixed tag team action. I never thought I'd see the freaking day that Tom Lawler would be with Siri. That's crazy. And so much more, too. And again, it's just a good time in life to just freaking be a fan of this industry. But as always, let it conclude, there are no winners, no losers, no betters. They're just fans with opinions, with this passion we all share. At the end of the day, folks, support one another, respect each other, protect your mentality too, and treasure your families. And just enjoy life and enjoy professional wrestling. It's as simple as that.
Couldn't say it better myself, which is why I always let you wrap things up for us, Noah. Once again, thank you guys for tuning in and joining us this evening. To the 10 of you that are still watching, thank you for being with us for almost 4 hours. We love you guys for this. For the man whose name is on the marquee, the West Coast professor, Jeff motherfucking Meacham. For Mr. Report Card Radio, Mikey T. For the simple man, Noah Foster. I am the renegade, JJ Williams. Tonight, JJ McFly. Thank you all, and we will see you guys next time.